weekend. And Industry Minister Melanie Joly says she'll be pushing for Stellantis to be here for Canadians. This after the automaker announced it will move its production from Brampton, Ontario to the United States. Stellantis says it has plans for the Brampton facility, but didn't provide any details. Joly says she will hold Stellantis to their promise.
We've invested millions of dollars in that facility based on the commitment that they would be investing in a new model. And so that's why, if they don't do so, we'll hold them to account.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford says his province would be halting any funding, including for the battery plant Stellantis is developing with LG, since it was based on keeping Brampton going as well. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast is for B&A Petroleum and Swift Current, with multiple locations serving southern Saskatchewan for over 30 years. See B&A Petroleum for all your fuel and propane needs. Tonight, cloudy, chance of showers and a low of 4. Tomorrow, cloudy, 60% chance of showers and a high of 10. For Friday, a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 9. Saturday, sunny and 9. Sunday, partly cloudy and 12. And for Monday, sunny and a high of 8. Right now, cloudy, cool, and 8 degrees in Regina.
B&A Petroleum is a southern Saskatchewan family-owned business that's there for you. They've been supporting their clients for over 30 years with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs, with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Regina Motor Products early tire swap offer on now. Book before October 31st to save $10 on an on-rim and $20 on an off-rim tire changeover. Visit Regina Motor Products today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
One of the funnest storylines of the year in sports has been the Toronto Blue Jays. To watch them catch lightning in a bottle and rocket to the top of the American League East standings and then stay there and fend off all comers has not only captured the imagination of baseball fans here in Canada, but also across the big leagues. At times, the Jays have looked they're unbeatable. And that was until this past weekend when the Seattle Mariners rolled into town. I said back in August, the one team I hope the Jays don't play in the playoffs are the Mariners. Great starting pitching, they play good defense, and they can swing some heavy bats. They are a lot like the Jays in a lot of ways, and that's not necessarily a good thing. They're kind of are equal at times. And that's what worried me. Now, the Mariners showed in games 1 and 2 that they are, right now, they're just more of a complete team. And when the Jays couldn't get the bats going like they did against the Yankees, they were in tough. So now the Jays find themselves in an unfamiliar spot. They're down 0-2 with Game 3 tonight in Seattle. Jays fans, history may not be on our side. Only 4 teams in the American League Championship Series history have come back from being down 0-2 to win the series. Now, recent history's on our side. 2023, the Texas Rangers rallied to beat the Houston Astros, and then they went on to win the World Series. But before that, the Houston Astros did it in 2017 against the Yankees, winning the series 4-3. The most famous comeback of all, remember in 2004, when the Boston Red Sox not only erased an 0-2 deficit to the Yankees, but actually came back from 0-3. Now, that's the only such comeback in Major League postseason history. And eventually swept their way to a World Series title. Now, the first team to pull it off was the 1985 Kansas City Royals. This is where history's not on our side. They stormed back against the Toronto Blue Jays before winning the championship. So, Jays fans, a couple hours before first pitch, do you think this Jays team has what it takes to come back and win 4 of the next 5? It's the Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk sports. Maz in from Barney today. How are you? One of the double C's is here running things. Colson Schultz. We're live on 620 CKRM and the CKRM app. We also do a live stream of the show on X and on YouTube. So thanks to everyone that's hit that like and subscribe button. And you can get the Cage wherever you get your favorite podcasts like Apple, Spotify, and Amazon. Calls are always welcome. You want to talk Jays? You want to talk that Rider extension? Whatever's on your mind. Oilers' big win last night. Stu Skinner. Stu's back, baby. Shutout. 866-767-0620. Text on the Prairieland Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. From renting heaters, skid steers, and power tools for all your winter jobs, and your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer, Prairieland Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you get to deal with the owner. The Sports Cage on a Wednesday is brought to you by Regina Motor Products. The RMP early tire swap offer is on now. Book before October 31st to save $10 on an on-rim tire change and $20 on an off-rim tire change. You can visit RMP today. In just a couple of minutes, we're going to be joined by Voice of the Riders, Dave Thomas. NHL insider Eric Francis is going to be back. Eric will be, like he has the past couple seasons, with us Mondays and Wednesdays just after 4 o'clock. And because there was no show on Monday because it was Thanksgiving, are we still eating turkey out of the fridge? Is today like the tipping point of this is the last official day? I would say stuffing and anything else had to go yesterday. But can you stretch turkey out to a couple days? I know people will. A special Wednesday edition of Double Talk with Darian Durant. Plus, we'll hear from Saskatchewan Roughrider head coach Corey Mace, Alberta Wachi, and Mario Anderson. Don't forget about our Sportscage poll at sportscage.com. Will Bo Bichette play another game for the Blue Jays? He's injured. He's not on the roster. He's a potential free agent. I don't know. Is there room with Vlad Guerrero Jr.'s contract? Is there room for a Bo Bichette on that payroll? I think there is. You can vote now by going to sportscage.com. When you're there, you can sign up for the Insider newsletter. Still a lot of people talking. People I ran into yesterday and today want to talk about the J.O. Corey Mace extension. A lot of people love it. That's what the chatter is online. 98% positive. I don't see why not. There's not been a better time to make this announcement. You're heading into the playoffs. You're 12-4. You're first place. You just locked up the West Final. And Craig Reynolds said yesterday that they started chatting about this in late August. A couple more years. So Corey Mace and Jeremy O'Day. That clip from O'Day yesterday, when you could hear his voice crack and the emotion, he's been a Saskatchewan Roughrider. When all is said and done, it'll be 3 decades. And as you all know, Rider Nation, and he would know intimately, being part of Rider Nation, not only as a player, but part of management, the ups and the downs that go along with this football team. For a lot of us fans, we can just turn it off. But for someone like him, what if you want to go to the grocery store in early December and things didn't work out in November? Then what do? Most people are polite, but not always. You'd have to stay off social media. If you did have accounts, maybe you lurk, but you don't post. There's nothing good there. I was listening to something this morning talking about if you are going to go on social media, that you kind of need to cleanse when you get off to kind of reset your chakra or your mojo before you try and get back into real life. That's not a bad thing. Twitter, I can kind of handle. Facebook, it's Reddit. Don't go on Reddit. If you have thin skin and you do anything and you post, don't go there. Those people are vicious. I'm curious, the Bombers, it's a must-win on Friday night. For the Riders, we're resting people. Jake Maier is going to be the starting quarterback. I want to know what this Bomber team is going to look like on Friday night. Fired up, yes. They're in a must-win situation. I think there's some crazy stat that they could finish 9-9 and not make the playoffs, even in Eastern crossover. That would be nuts. I don't think anybody had on their bingo card before the CFL season started that the Bombers would be fighting for their playoff lives and potentially not make it. Everybody thought that would be the Calgary Stampeders. I said on the latest episode of the Rider Nation podcast, if you want to check that out on Spotify, I don't think the Elks are making the playoffs. I like what they're doing. I like the push. Beating Winnipeg on the weekend was great for morale, but the Stamps only got to win one It's a valiant effort, but Ed Hervey, you can't spot the rest of the division, a 7-game lead, and then expect to play catch-up. You're just going to run out of time. I like it, but I don't think they're making the playoffs. I think Calgary will. They're going to win one of these next couple of games, and they're going to be in. And I think the Bombers are going to be in. Zach Collaros is going to be your starting quarterback. Oh, they're going to be airing it out. Brady Oliveira, you know they're going to try and feed him the ball, get him going, so he's slapping that helmet. My bold prediction in the preseason, if the Riders win all 3 games against the Bombers, we win the Grey Cup easy, because 2 of those games would be in Winnipeg, which, check our record. Go to ChatGPT and check our record. It's not awesome. They'll spit that answer out in like no time flat. But if we can do that, I think we'll look good. How will Jake Maier do? We're going to rest some starters, but there's going to be quite a few starters playing. I'm excited to see. He's a different quarterback than Trevor Harris. He can do some things. He throws a great deep ball. Remember when things were going well with Jake Maier in Calgary? Fun to watch. The Oilers kicked off a 5-game road trip last night. Stu Skinner got a shutout. Speaking of social media, they'll take anything. They will take anything. The New York Rangers have not scored a goal at home yet this season. This is nuts. I think they've played 3 games at Madison Square Garden, and they haven't scored 1 goal. And JT Miller, the captain, he doesn't want to talk about it. Mika Zibanejad said last night he doesn't know if he wants to laugh or if he wants to cry. That's not great. New York's a great sports town, but also a tough sports town. They'll get on you. Could you imagine? Colson, we may have to Google how much lower bowl Ranger season tickets are at Madison Square Garden. If you're showing up to these games to watch no goals be scored, even the Ottawa Senators, the San Jose Sharks, I think even the Buffalo Sabres have scored at home. And they're awful. Oh, speaking of the Sabres, what is it, Game 4 tonight? And people are calling this a must-win. But then Jeff Merrick said it's not just the first 4 games of this season. It's the first 4 games of this season in the past 14 years of futility. That's their problem. Do we have an answer? How much are lower bowl MSG Ranger tickets?
I'm looking that up right now, but I did see a reel on Instagram yesterday. Apparently, lower bowl in Buffalo for the game yesterday was going for $11 US.
Nice.
So, comparably speaking, where would the Rangers be at? Like, okay, October 16th tomorrow against the Leafs.
The thing about Ranger fans is they have pride, and although they'll be vocal, they're not going to give up because they also have that New York City swagger, where Buffalo has just been so bad for so long. If you're a player on the Buffalo Sabres, has everybody told their agent that if there is any sort of anything type rumor situation, get me out of here? I bet you if there's 22 guys on the roster, there are 22 agents that have those instructions of if there's a sniff of anything, I want to go. Because this is awful and it doesn't look like it's getting any better.
I would imagine that's the common consensus. So Monday the 20th against the Wild is the next home game. What are we thinking? Let's see. Second row, not right up against the boards. You're back a little bit. Still going for $330.
Yeah, but that's Madison Square Garden pricing. Doesn't matter if they don't score for the next 6 games. Those prices are not going down.
Top of the lower bowl, $200.
Yeah, that's US though. Tack on 40%. I haven't even checked our dollar lately. I can't even bring myself to see that. The Flames are going to have to play their backup goalie tonight. Dustin Wolf gets a break. The Flames are in Utah to take on the Mammoth. Logan Cooley is going to get the start. We'll ask Eric about that after 4 o'clock. I know a lot of people have been making a lot out of Dustin Wolf starting the first 3 or 4 games. He's a pro athlete. Remember, we were kids, we'd play 3-4 games a day. He gets a day off. That, like, if you can't handle this is what you signed up for. You've been off for the past 4 months. You should be fresh, right? Colson, if you have to work a couple days in a row, Are you going to call your agent and be like, sorry, I need a day between the Rider game and a Sportscage because I just can't hack it?
Yeah, I believe Charles Barkley had a comment recently on that where it's like, man, these guys, he was talking, of course, specifically in the NBA, but these guys can't play basketball on back-to-back days. They need to take a break. Oh, don't go look at the blue-collar industry. Don't go start talking to steel workers.
Yeah, how many people listening to this program are either working 12s, like 5 on, couple off, or 7 on, 7 off, or you're just like, if you're farming, you own your own business, you're always on and you're barely ever off, and you're just trying to get by.
And that's his thoughts too, from when he was playing, making $5 million a year, whereas comparably now they're making $50 million a year. Like, excuses.
I know it's ridiculous. So when they bring that up, and then probably one of the segments I'm looking forward to most on the show, if you missed on the weekend, the Miami Dolphins are the gift that keeps on giving. If you thought the Buffalo Sabres were an embarrassing sports organization, the Miami Dolphins just keep getting worse because they let Tua Tagovailoa speak at press conferences after the game where he basically threw everybody on the team under the bus. If you missed it, we'll play it for you. But Tua, I don't know. I don't know how things are going to go this week. But there's probably some guys being like, we need to lock this guy out because it is not great. All right, we're going to take our first break on the show. When we come back, we're going to be joined by voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas. It was a close practice today. We'll find out what we can about what went on as the Riders get ready to take on the Bombers on Friday night. This is the Sports Cage on the home of Saskatchewan Roughrider football, 620 CKRM.
The best bulls on the planet are coming for the bulls and their riders. Those 8 seconds go by in a heartbeat. 8 seconds to become a champion or nothing. This is Canada, and this is the PBR. The professional bull riders buck into SaskTel Center with 2 huge shows October 24th and 25th with the Saskatoon Classic. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.ca.
Here they are, the Cowboys of the PBR!
Ready to raise your shower game? Rent a water heater and water softener together from Reliance Heath and turn every shower into a spa-worthy experience. Right now, when you rent a new water heater and water softener together, you'll get $400 back, sent by check after installation. Why settle for meh when you can upgrade your whole home's water and get big cashback savings? Don't miss out on this limited time offer.
Call on Reliance.
Call on Reliance Heath today. All the farmland and equipment you could need are available at auction this fall with Ritchie Brothers. A wide variety of farmland auctions across Western Canada will begin in earnest in October and run into December to get you ready for the next season. With new parcels of land and equipment continually added to their inventory, make sure to visit their website so you never miss an opportunity. Head over to rbauction.com to get started. Again, that's rbauction.com.
Howdy, y'all. It's Wood Country Woody again. Well, looks like new home prices are still higher than a giraffe on an extension ladder. But a custom and RTM home from Wood Country gives you what you're looking for at a price that's down to earth. They draft your home for you right in store. Then they custom build your home right on your site. Literally thousands less for a home you actually want. See Wood Country today.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale. Wood-country.com.
B&A Petroleum is a Southern Saskatchewan family-owned business that's there for you. They've been supporting their clients for over 30 years with locations in several communities throughout the southern part of the province. B&A Petroleum is available for all your bulk fuel and lubricant needs with propane at selected locations Monday to Friday. And don't forget, their Cardlock location is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com and our YouTube channel. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
You've got a chance to play SaskTel Pick the Score right now. Tell us who wins Friday night in Winnipeg, Riders Bombers, what the score is going to be, and you can text us your first and last name to 306-936-6262. You could win a pair of tickets to watch the Riders close out the season at home against the BC Lions and have a crack at a $200 SaskTel gift card. You've got to get your score predictions in before 6 o'clock tonight. Time to go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline and bring in voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dave Thomas. And before we chat about this week and this week's game, I want to go back to Friday, and I want to get your thoughts. I thought one of the most noticeable things, or one of the most telling things about the game Friday night, although the Riders won, is what an effort that Ryan Dinwiddie's Toronto Argonauts put in. Without their top offensive player, Nick Arbuckle, you had no Witten McManus, their top player on defense. But, man, that Argo team, they played tough.
How about Jared Dagey? Right off the hop, Jared Dagey, you know what? He took an absolute pounding. And this was his opportunity to make a statement. And if there's one thing that you can really see similarities between not only Ryan Dinwiddie, but Corey Mace, is the way that they have their teams and cultures set, right? There's a lot of symmetry there, and you would expect that with two gentlemen that worked for as long as they had. But Jared Dagey got absolutely plowed into the turf. But as Coach Mace says quite often, is that it's a next man up. The standard is the standard, and it's your opportunity to go out and show that you belong. And that's what Jared Dagey took it as, right? Like, again, he knows what the depth chart looks like. He knows that Nick Arbuckle is hurt and going to come back. He knows that Chad Kelly is hurt, and who knows what it's going to be. So he had to put something down on film, and that's Luke's big thing too. And he's bang on when he says it. It's a opportunity for you to build your resume. And boy, if there's one thing he showed, he's absolute tough as nails. And believe you me, if there's a team that's looking for a quarterback or quarterback depth, Jared Dagey is probably going to be one of the guys that are talked about.
Do you think after they pulled him out of the game for the concussion spotter, like once and then again, that he was allowed to continue to finish the game? Because after a while, I felt bad watching him taking that abuse and his head bouncing off the turf. And I'm like, if the first one didn't get him, the second or third one must have. I was wondering about that from a player safety standpoint.
Well, here's what I get it. It's 2025 and nobody trusts anything about anyone anywhere, it seems. But at some point you have to go ahead and say, okay, these are medical professionals that have been trained. Again, they have gone to school. They have got their degrees. They know much more about anything to do with medical and assessment of injury than I would ever dream of having. And while me from the outside looking in say, wow, how can you let them go back in? Well, if you're a medical professional on the sideline, that is your job and that is your profession. And if in your professional opinion, the player is safe and okay to play, who are we to doubt that? It's kind of the same with Zach Collaros. Like there was Milt Stiegel called for him to hang him up right after he took that big shot. You know what? I can understand that there was a lot of care and there was a lot of personal emotion in it, but these teams hire the very best medical professionals that they can. And that goes to the league too. Now, again, I get it. I'm like, ooh, I maybe would have pulled him out or maybe thought of that. But again, that's just me and I'm not a medical professional. So yes, are you surprised that he went back in? Maybe, but if the medical professionals say you can go back in, you're going to go back in. And Jared Dagey has got a family to feed and he's got to put food on the table. And like I said, this was his resume opportunity, right? To build the resume. So if the medical professionals say yes, who am I to judge?
I changed my opinion on the Zach Collaros thing because I was I'm like, no, he said he's good. He's a gunslinger. Let him go down fighting in the game he loves, and if that's what takes him out, not something that isn't. So Zach's smart enough. He'll make his own decisions, and I think he said he's content to live with the consequences of what his decisions are. And I'm like, all right, he's good, and I'm good because go down with a fight as without it. I was impressed. The Riders win 27-19. Brett Lothar has a good night, kicks 5 field goals. But when you're kicking 5 field goals, it means when you got close to the red zone, you weren't cashing in, getting touchdowns. Now, a lot of the offenses in the CFL from some teams like Montreal and BC are ramping up right now, and they are converting, and they're getting that red zone percentage up there where we're seeing moving the ball in the 20s. What did you see that maybe didn't lead to success once we got inside the red zone?
Well, we didn't get inside the red zone technically, right? As Brett's kicks were from 37-41 twice, and then he had a longer one as well. So we didn't get quite to the red zone, which I know is of little comfort to anyone. It's just semantics really at the end of the day. But the team, they get down and they find a way to shoot themselves in the foot to steal what Trevor Harris points out. He says, you know what, like it's just one missed assignment or maybe a drop football or a football that he puts in the wrong spot or maybe a wrong read at the line of scrimmage that just hasn't got the team operating at that full capacity. If you know what I mean? Like it's an 8-cylinder engine. They're running on 7.5 right now. And once that half a cylinder gets going and firing in sync with everything else, look out. And just really, we've only seen that a couple of times this year, but the team is very, very confident that they're going to get to that level and be at that level when it matters most, which is in the West Final in a few weeks from now.
I think it was 11 tackles, 1 interception, and 1 sack. That was A.J. Allen. Is he the best Saskatchewan Roughrider on defense right now?
Ooh, hard to argue. Malik Carney having an amazing year up front, of course, amongst the league leader in sacks in the defensive backfield. CJ Rivas has only done everything that's been asked of him, whether it's playing the halfback spot or now he's moved to safety, of course, due to the injuries that have compounded at that position. But yeah, A.J. Allen, I would suggest yes. He is definitely having a defensive player of the year type year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And I don't think it was completely unexpected. Coach Mace talked to me about him today. He said, you know, we knew what he could do on special teams and we kind of challenged him a little bit. We knew where the trajectory and where the ceiling might be. And he went ahead and he just took off. And again, he was given an opportunity to play when CJ Avery went down in week number 1. And A.J. Allen is just that, taken the opportunity and ran with it and been special all the way through.
I don't mind this American backfield with the American safety. Got CJ Rivas, Redwine, and Sapp. For guys that are just new to the league, they haven't even played 5 games. They're looking pretty comfortable out there. And I know that Tavon Campbell instantly, when he's back, is back. He gets his spot back. But how they've patched this thing together and what we saw on Friday night against the Argos, I kind of like what they're doing in a short amount of time with not a lot of continuity together.
No, you're right. And again, there's going to be the detractors that say, well, you know, they did face Jarrett Daggy, which is true. And, well, they were playing Ottawa, and they had Dustin Crum and Drew Brown, who looks like he already wants to be a member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, playing for them. Those are what the detractors will say, by the way. But when it comes to what they've been able to piece together, you're right. And let's not forget, these aren't raw rookies out of college. These are guys like that have played some in the NFL, right? So you've got Sheldrick Redwine, who's played in the Cleveland Browns organization for a number of years, was a 4th-round draft pick. He's proving what he can do. And, you know, absolutely the team would love to have Marcus Sayles. They would absolutely love to have Roland Milligan Jr. and, yes, Tavon Campbell all back in the backfield. But for now, you're right. But proof is going to be in the pudding this week because, let's face it, Zach Collaros, he knows what to do when it comes to picking apart defenses. Now, they haven't gone deep, which has kind of been the Riders' Achilles heel as far as the pass game is concerned. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Zach try to go over the top a little bit and see what he can manipulate with his eyes.
All right, let's get into the Coach Mace comments here. I think I'll let you take it from here, Colson, if we're ready to go. You had a chance to talk to Coach Mace after a closed practice today.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, we just started the conversation off by talking a little bit about what it was that he was going to expect when it came to facing a Winnipeg Blue Bombers team that definitely has a lot to play for this week.
The exact same thing that we see and try to achieve every week. The detail-oriented football, energy, juice, passion, and a physical brand. Like, we're still trying to become the team that we want to become. And it doesn't matter who's out there. You're in that locker room, you're part of this team. So the standard doesn't change.
Yeah, and the standard is going to be a very intense game. As I mentioned, the Blue Bombers do have a lot to play for this week. And when the Riders and Bombers get together, you know one thing's for sure. It is going to be emotional, and you also know that it's going to be physical. And I asked Coach if that is what he's expecting, another physical battle at Princess Auto Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, and they're built off of that. They're a physical football team. Their defense flies around, likes to hit. Their offensive line is a physical group. Brady obviously plays physical, their receiving core, they do a good job trying to block as well. So, we try to pride ourselves on the same thing as far as a makeup of our football team, and it should be that. I mean, it is what it is as far as. As you said, the Riders versus Bombers. Everybody, I think, expects what kind of ball game that's going to be, and man, that's what it's got to be, especially this time of year.
And maybe to conclude the conversation, this is the game within the game that you got to love, right? There's that chess match that, okay, if I move this safety here, what am I going to do? Well, for Coach Mace, right, he's also the play caller when it comes to the defensive side of the football. And, right, there's got to be a fine line because he's got to call what he needs to call to get the job done, but he also doesn't want to call what he doesn't need to in order to preserve some secrets, if you will, as they move forward. So I asked him what that fine line was like.
Yeah, I think it depends. Every situation's kind of different, but for depending on your opponent, specifically this week, like you're talking about a really good football team that's been really good for a long time, excellent run game, and you can see they could put up 40 in a hurry if you're not on it. So for us as play callers, is we gotta make sure we're calling stuff to help us win the game, period. So that's always going to be the focus.
So there you go, head coach to Corey Mace today at practice. It was a closed session, so we tried to read into as much as we could as far as players that will go. We know, for example, that neither Dante Myers nor Keyshawn Johnson are going to be able to go. AJ Ouellette is going to be sitting this week. Jake Mayer is going to be starting at quarterback. All signs point to Braden Knoll playing center this week with Logan Furland not going to be in the lineup by the looks of things right now. Defensively, it looks like everybody that's available is going to be going because there's not a lot of players that you can switch in and out right now with the Riders' injury situation. But it does look like there is some good news on the horizon with Nelson Lacombe becoming more active this week. Same with Jackson Ford as well. Micah Johnson is going to be out. So, again, Mike has deserved it as a veteran and a pro.
Yeah.
He takes on double teams
Same
every
with AJ.
Yeah. So
Trevor
I think
Harris,
it all makes
AJ Ouellette, and Micah Johnson. Yeah, like load management wise, everybody else, if you kind of can, you should. I know Brett Lothar says he was available. He's been still dealing with that back injury, and I think if they win this week, you'd maybe try the other guy next week. I don't know. We had Kent Majiri on yesterday, and we're talking to him about when you bring in a kicker with a few weeks left in the season that is brand new to the CFL, you're starting from square one, basically, and have to get them up to speed as fast as you possibly can. And that's a challenge. No different than when you're bringing in some of these guys, these new DBs that never played the Canadian game before. How fast can you assimilate? Out of the Bombers. Now, when the Bombers beat the Ticats it was the Ticats. They played well. I thought they played well in Edmonton. They didn't win, but I thought they played well. Edmonton just was able to, there was a couple of key plays that they capitalized on. And so what are we thinking out of the Bombers? I think, like you had said, Zach Collaros is going to test that secondary. He's probably going to go deep, but you have to think they've got to get the running game going, that healthy dose as the weather gets colder. And if they're going to be in the playoffs, Brady Oliveira, if they're going to win, he's going to be part of that formula. Do you think it's just going to be like standard Bomber ball, run and then gun when the gun is there?
I would say yes, and I would have said yes before the Labor Day rematch or even the Labor Day Classic, because to me, and again, I'm not an offensive guru, but to me, if I'm looking at the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I see that they give up 71.6 yards per game in rushing offense. So they don't allow a lot, but I think you still have to go ahead and run the ball to at least force the Riders to consider the fact that you might do that. If you go back to Labor Day, Brady Oliveira ran the ball 9 times, and they put the ball in his chest a couple more times in that Labor Day rematch. But again, I don't know what it is that teams seem to shy away from running the ball against the Riders' defense without even trying. There's zero commitment to the run game. And to me, I would run the ball a little bit. If you've seen the 2 wins the Calgary Stampeders scored over the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Dietrich Mills, who, by the way, is running over everybody in the league, but Dietrich Mills was fantastic in those games, allowing the diversified offense and being able to run play action, run pass option. You list that goes on from there. Same with the Montreal Alouettes, right? When they come into town, they bring in a running back. Now their starter gets injured on the first play. Oh, well, no problem. We don't have Tease. That's all right. We'll just go to the second man up, and ran for some great distance and forced the Riders to consider the run game. Same with Edmonton, Justin Rankin, right? So to me, if I'm the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? I've got to go ahead and stay true to my running game and be patient and allow it to develop. Whether they will or not, we'll have to wait and see.
You mentioned Dietrich Mills and the Calgary Stampeders. I know there's a couple games left. I'll get your thoughts. To me, the Calgary Stampeders saved their season last week when they beat Hamilton 37-20. I know they weren't technically eliminated, but they needed to win a football game. And I think they got back to playing some Stampeder football, a little bit of that formula that helped them win earlier. They ran, the defensive line played well, big play VA didn't make a ton of mistakes. They were able to cobble it all together, and they made Hamilton look pretty pedestrian.
I think they saved their season before they even took the field. When Flo Orimolade went down, he showed you what he means to that team in terms of leadership, in terms of effort level, in terms of physicality. That was why Calgary went out and got him in the offseason. And to me, he was the tone setter. He was lost to injury, of course, with an Achilles injury. And so they went ahead and they brought in Lorenzo Molden from Ottawa. And they did that before the game. And I think by doing that, it set a new tone. It established a new mark. It established, hey, we need to be physical and we have to play. And I think that was a genius move, bolstering the lineup with something that they were lacking with Orimolade, going down. And finding what their weakness was and then reinstilling that culture that had been built along both the offensive and defensive line to start the year in Calgary.
We mentioned that Edmonton beat Winnipeg 25-20. The Elks just won't go away. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. It's a valiant effort, but you can't spot anybody a 7-game lead in the West Division of the CFL and then expect to just miraculously turn it around and expect everybody else to lose and you win. I like the story. If we were script writers, Dave, this is a good story where Cody Fajardo leads them into the playoffs and then to a Grey Cup victory, but I just don't think there's enough juice there that this is going to pan out. I think there's just too many factors against them.
Elks are running out of road real quick.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been talking with some of my colleagues in Edmonton this week, and it's interesting because Mark Killam is kind of under fire right now. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that he didn't change quarterbacks at the start of the year. It's the fact that late in the ball game, right, when they're up by 5 points, instead of trying to push the ball downfield, instead of trying to go ahead and get the touchdown with the 2-point convert, which then wins you the season series over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and really gives you an opportunity to make a push to get into the playoffs. He stayed conservative, making sure they got the win first. And if you watch the game, Cody Fajardo was beside himself. He couldn't believe he was being pulled off the field on 3rd down. And a lot of the folks in Edmonton are kind of talking about that a little bit now. Oh, he's a rookie head coach. And I don't think so. I think that mission 1 is securing the victory. Yeah. And if you go back to the Riders and Calgary Stampeders, remember Coach Mace was asked going into McMahon Stadium, if you get into a situation where you need to win the season series, are you thinking about that? And he's like, no, we're concentrating on winning the game first. And like I say, it's an interesting conversation to have. I'm very curious in what other people's opinions are. To me, I'm kind of with you. You got to win the game first. Otherwise, you're completely eliminated. The icing on the cake was to go ahead and get the 13-point differential.
Yeah, how many times have we seen it? You know, the team is driving, and in a perfect world, it works out. But let's say Cody hangs one out to the far flat, gets picked off in return for a touchdown, and then they lose 27-25. And then what? That's every coach is either stacking something in the good bank account to keep him around, or he's putting something in the negative part of that account on the other side that's going to get him out of there. And Killam needs as much positive. And I wonder, Dave, if early on in the season, was it Killam's decision? Let's say after 3 games, he's like, all right, I've seen enough of Trey Ford. Mark Killam has been around a lot of good quarterbacks in Calgary. 2 decades worth. He knows what a good CFL quarterback is. Don't tell me it took till week 7. I want to know, and we're never going to know, was it his decision? Could he have said sooner, he's not our guy, we got to put Cody in. We have to salvage the season.
All I'll tell you is there's an awful lot of banners and posters around Commonwealth Stadium at Edmonton with quarterback Trey Ford's picture on them.
Yeah. And I think that's what leads you to believe. Mark Killam has been around some of the best quarterbacks to ever play in the CFL when he was a special teams coach with the Calgary Stampeders for 2 decades. He would know, because he is part of the Huffnagel tree, what a good quarterback in this league is. And they've got it in Cody, which is great. And if he's not signed, sign him, because having him on your team gives you a chance. And if I'm a fan, and there's not many of them showing up at games, and I get it, there was no other game on Saturday. Didn't look like a huge crowd, but that's the one thing to cheer for. Montreal took care of Ottawa on Thanksgiving Day. I don't think anybody was thinking that the Red Blacks were going to pull an upset. Montreal gets them again this week, but in Ottawa. If Bob Dice is not the head coach, do you wait till the end of the season? It didn't happen after Monday's game. Will it happen after this game? How does that situation play out?
I don't know why you would. To be honest, like, what's changing the head coach going to do right now? Absolutely nothing, I would submit. Obviously, Bob Dice and Sean Burke are working in tandem right now, and they're developing a plan for how they're going to approach this. And it'll be interesting to see. I know that they were called out quite substantially, dare I say, on the TSN broadcast about, well, why aren't you playing the third stringer? Or why are you playing this player, not this player? And again, they've got decisions to make in Ottawa, and it starts from the top down. And again, I don't know why you would make that change now. I don't think it changes anything at all. Players know that they're playing for jobs next year. Everybody knows what's at stake. The game plan has been installed. You're not going to change an offense or a defense or a special teams package. So I think you roll it out and you assess absolutely everything, and then you go forward from there.
I think Rick Campbell will be the next head coach of the Ottawa Red Blacks. He's already on staff there. He's the special teams coordinator. I think he's very much overqualified for that job. But I would love to see if in these past couple, like, how would he run that roster with those guys? Because he can't change a lot. Sean Burke, like, there's nothing to change, but how would Rick Campbell, if he is that guy? And then the other thing too, Dave, there's also the coaching cap that comes into play. You can't just get rid of guys and bring in whole new staffs because you got to get paid. I hate that rule. I wish Stu Johnson would change that. I wish they would make the roster, increase the salary cap, make the rosters bigger, like Suit said, so you could have a complete team of guys that just play specials, even if it's 3 or 4 players to the roster, and get rid of the coaching cap so you can have the best of the best at all times in the league. That's, I think, one of the things.
The biggest question I'll give you right now, I think that Ottawa needs to answer, is Drew Brown. Because we have seen Drew Brown at his best, but he's got a losing record as a starting quarterback for the Ottawa Red Blacks. So is Drew Brown going to be the answer, the solution at quarterback? Is it Dustin Crum? Is it someone else? That's the first player personnel question that they've got to ask and answer.
Well, at least with Dustin Crum, he stays healthy. He stays on the field. He doesn't get hurt. Drew Brown has been hurt. That's not necessarily his fault, but at least with Dustin Crum, the games what I've watched, when he comes in, he seems to give them a little bit of spark. He's a running threat, which I think is always helpful, especially in the CFL, and he is able to stay healthy. Looking at the games this week, Edmonton's at BC. Matthew Betts seems unstoppable on that D-line for BC. The offense is rolling. I think Edmonton may meet their match this week. The Lions are just on the trajectory. They're going in the right direction at the right time.
And it means a lot to the Lions to get a home playoff date. So they're going to be rolling and pushing. I'd like to know what happened with Matthew Betts. Did he figure out the defense, or did the defense figure out how to go ahead and put him in, if you know what I mean? Because something has clicked mid-season and boom, there he is flying now, being the player that we thought we would see for 18 games.
You've seen this before, Dave, when there are players that are unblockable, and he right now is in the zone where he is unblockable. And it's not like they're not double teaming him and he's still getting to the quarterback. And you forgot, because he was kind of, ever since he came back from the NFL, it was kind of one of those NFL hangovers, and you saw flashes, but now he just seems like, uh-oh. And Nathan Rourke, not only, the thing that's impressive about Nathan, to me, is great arm, good decision-making. But do you find that he's incredibly smart when he chooses to run?
You know, I had a great conversation with Farhan Lalji, and we were just talking about Nathan Rourke in general. And he said the one thing that Nathan needed to figure out was how to chill out, because he took everything to heart. Every missed play, it just kept piling on. And it seems like he's been able to go ahead and shake that off. Okay, it was an incompletion. Okay, it was a fumble. Okay, we got scored on. He doesn't internalize that anymore. He's not venting or anything, but he's allowing himself to move forward from it. And I think that's a huge key for him.
He looks like he's playing loose. He's playing free. The other game, Toronto at Calgary, I think valiant effort, but I think Calgary wins, and then Montreal at Ottawa. Hey, because of the time change and the game on Friday, there will be no Sportscage. The 620 CKRM Rider Broadcast Network, brought to you by the Cooperators, has countdown to kickoff on Friday starting at 3. Rider pregame show at 5, and David Luke will have the call Bombers and Riders from Princess Auto Stadium with kickoff at 6. And don't forget, when the Riders play, you can get the KFC Game Day Special, the Big Crunch for just $4.95, and the Big Crunch Combo for $7.95 at participating KFC locations. Time to take a break here on The Cage. When we come back, Tua Tagovailoa. Tua and microphones are not going hand in hand this year. You would think him throwing interceptions at the wrong time is his biggest enemy. No, it's talking to the press. Tua sunk his teammates on the weekend after another big loss. It's a dumpster fire in Miami, and we'll let you in on that next. This is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
Ready to raise your shower game? Rent a water heater and water softener together from Reliance Heath and turn every shower into a spa-worthy experience. Right now, when you rent a new water heater and water softener together, you'll get $400 back, sent by check after installation. Why settle for meh when you can upgrade your whole home's water and get big cashback savings? Don't miss out on this limited time offer.
Call on Reliance.
Call on Reliance Heath today.
The best bulls on the planet are coming for the bulls and their riders. Those 8 seconds go by in a heartbeat. 8 seconds to become a champion or nothing. This is Canada, and this is the PBR. The professional bull riders buck into SaskTel Center with 2 huge shows October 24th and 25th with the Saskatoon Classic. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.ca.
Here they are, the Cowboys of the PBR!
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50/50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
Canada's Conservatives have put forward a bill that will unlock our nation's true potential by rewarding those who build and invest in Canada. The Canadian Sovereignty Act introduces measures such as the Canada First Reinvestment Tax Cut to eliminate capital gains tax on reinvestments in Canada, ensuring that money stays here and builds our great economy. My name is Warren Steinley, your Conservative Member of Parliament for Regina Luban, and I will always be on Saskatchewan's side.
Paid ad by Warren Steinley.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262 for Prairie Land Rentals. Renting heaters, skid steers, and most power tools for all those winter jobs. And your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Bundle and save with Reliance Heath. Rent a new water heater and softener together and get $400 cash back. Call on Reliance Heath today.
Tonight it's Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. The Toronto Blue Jays are in Seattle to take on the Mariners. T-Mobile Park. First pitch tonight goes at 6:08. I don't think I need to tell you unless you've been living under a rock or you've been off the grid. I'm always impressed when people say that they're going off the grid. Do you do that? Do you just throw your phone away for a while? The Jays are down 2-0 to the Mariners. Western Hockey League tonight, the Kamloops Blazers are in Moose Jaw to take on the Warriors. Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, the Flin Flon Bombers in Yorkton to take on the Terriers. Kindersley is in Estevan to take on the Bruins. Prairie Junior Hockey League, the Regina Silver Foxes at Assiniboia to play the Southern Rebels. The Regina Capitals are on the road, Pilot Butte to take on the Storm. The Prince Albert Timberjacks are in Saskatoon to take on the Wesleys. NHL action tonight, the Ottawa Senators. Brady Tkachuk, I think, broke his hand and he's going to have surgery. So when you take Brady Tkachuk out of the lineup, what do you have as far as the Ottawa Senators go? You've got potential, but do you have a legitimate shot at winning? I don't necessarily know. They're in Buffalo tonight to take on the Sabres. That's their only saving grace. Speaking of bad situations in the NHL. And the Calgary Flames will be in Utah tonight to take on the Mammoth. We will talk NHL after the top of hour number 2 with our NHL insider, Eric Francis. NFL Week 7 will kick off tomorrow night. The Pittsburgh Steelers will be in Cincinnati to take on Joe Flacco and the Bengals. Yes, Joe Flacco, who played pretty good for a couple days practice last week. Got to give him credit. Didn't win. That was okay. The big news from Week 6 in the NFL was Tua Tagovailoa. After the Dolphins lost to the Chargers 29-27, as always, you're an NFL starting quarterback, you've got to go talk to the press. A lot of times, remember Tom Brady? He'd give you nothing. Some stock answers, a little, maybe something here or there, but nothing real, nothing juicy. And then here's Tua Tagovailoa, who decides to be completely honest about him and his teammates and how things are behind the scenes with the Miami Dolphins.
Well, I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. There's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? So it's a lot of things of that nature that we got to get cleaned up, and it starts with the little things like that.
To be clear, as the starting quarterback of an NFL team, you're kind of the guy, right? You usually make the most money. I think he has a $50 million deal. You should be the emotional leader. Colson, how would you take it if, let's say, somebody here on the Cage had a press conference and started airing all the dirty laundry from behind the scenes to anybody that would listen about how dysfunctional that we are? How inspired would you be to come to work the next day? And sit next to that person.
Inspired is not the word I would use. No, I don't think anybody ever gets inspired by getting thrown under the bus or called out.
Well, you're a mild-mannered guy. Oh, you got a nice haircut for the wedding you went to on the weekend, but I could be like, ooh, Colson probably wouldn't be okay with that. So if you're an NFL player, well, first of all, if you're having they've now had multiple players-only meetings since the start of the season. Colson, when you have more than one of those, as everybody has said, it's not a good thing. It's a sign of a bad team. Now that they're into multiples and guys are deciding to skip out on that, maybe, just maybe, Mike McDaniel isn't the biggest problem with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah. I don't think there is any salvaging this at this point for the Dolphins, and they're in week 6. So
yeah. So if there are Miami Dolphin fans out there. I don't know how many there are, but there are some. The Miami Dolphins this week play the Cleveland Browns. Probably one of the worst matchups in the National Football League. If the Dolphins lose, is there a way to get rid of Tua and Mike McDaniel at the same time? Cut the quarterback, get rid of the coach. I think that's only fair if you lose to Cleveland, who, by the way, will have Dylan Gabriel as their starting quarterback. They're sticking with him because behind Dylan is Shedeur Sanders. Dylan didn't have a great first game. Not a lot of NFL rookies do, and that's completely fine. All right. We're going to wrap here on hour number 1. If you missed any of the conversation that we had with Dave about what to expect this week, Riders, Bombers, you can always go back and listen to the Sportscage podcast, wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, or Amazon. When we come back after the top of the hour, we'll go inside the NHL with Eric Francis. We'll do that next on the Sportscage, on the home of local sports in Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
And the puck's dropped on your financial future. Are you skating toward retirement? Don't get caught offside when it comes to your work pension, farm succession, or changing family needs. Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, and the team at GP Financial Services and Aviso Wealth are your local independent advisors helping Saskatchewan families plan for retirement and beyond. 306-584-2755, gpfinancial.ca. Mutual funds and other securities are offered through Aviso Wealth, a division of Aviso Financial Inc.
The best bulls on the planet are coming for the bulls and their riders. Those 8 seconds go by in a heartbeat. 8 seconds to become a champion or nothing. This is Canada, and this is the PBR. The professional bull riders buck into SaskTel Center with 2 huge shows October 24th and 25th with the Saskatoon Classic. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.ca.
Here they are, the Cowboys of the PBR!
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
Hey, you down there. Yeah, it's me, the sun. Been up here doing my thing for, 4.6 billion years or so, and you're still paying full price for power? Come on. Get a Kelm Solar residential system. Use me to power your AC, your fridge, your whatever that thing is in your garage. Help me help you. What movie's that from? Anyway, when you've got extra power, Sask Power gives you credits. Jerry Maguire, that's what that line's from.
Get a quote at KelmSolar.com.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Canada's Conservatives have put forward a bill that will unlock our nation's true potential by rewarding those who build and invest in Canada. The Canadian Sovereignty Act introduces measures such as the Canada First Reinvestment Tax Cut to eliminate capital gains tax on reinvestments in Canada, ensuring that money stays here and builds our great economy. My name is Warren Steinley, your Conservative Member of Parliament for Regina Louvain, and I will always be on Saskatchewan's side.
Paid ad by Warren Steinley.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Streaming online at 620CKRM.com.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM News. Regina police are investigating a homicide after finding a man's body near the 100 block of College Avenue early Monday morning. Officers arrived at around 4:30 a.m. and secured the area for the major crimes and forensic identifications units. Police are asking anyone with video from the Al Ritchie neighborhood between 4 and 5 a.m. to contact investigators at 306-777-6500 or call Crime Stoppers anonymously. The Regina Food Bank has kicked off the 6th Mosaic Million Meal Challenge, aiming to raise $400,000 to fund 1 million meals. CEO John Bailey says the fall fundraiser comes as many families face growing financial pressure. Mosaic will match the first $75,000 in donations, and Bailey urges online or in-person donations.
That's our preferred way, because not only does that allow us to make sure that your donation goes through immediately, it also allows you to get your tax receipt immediately. So you're also not waiting on the back end come tax time if there are continuing delays.
Since 2019, demand for food bank services has more than doubled to nearly 23,000 people. Energy Minister Colleen Young visited Foran Mining's Saskatoon facility as the company prepares to open its McIlvenna Bay mine in 2026. The $1 billion project will produce copper, zinc, gold, and silver for nearly 2 decades. Young said the mine supports the province's critical mineral strategy by diversifying Saskatchewan's mining sector and creating jobs. Foran CEO Dan Meyerson called Saskatchewan a global leader in mining and praised the province's investment incentives for helping drive development. The head of Alberta's Teachers Union says they are not asking for the world as their province-wide strike enters its 7th day. It comes after Finance Minister Nate Horner said the union shot for the moon in its latest proposal and called it unrealistic. Jason Schilling from the Teachers Association says the proposal is the exact opposite.
Our proposal doesn't ask Alberta to leap ahead of the country and become an outlier. It simply begins to bring us closer to the national average in per-student spending rather than continually finding ourselves in last place.
Schilling says the union is ready to reach a deal that respects teachers and students. And the Toronto Blue Jays fans are taking planes, boats, and automobiles to give their team some much-needed support against the winning Mariners in the American League Championship Series. Toronto is down 2-0 heading into T-Mobile Park to play Seattle for Game 3 of the best-of-7 series. Valerie Conrad and her grandchildren hope the Jays can win tonight.
We're due for the World Series.
I feel like they're going to get it.
They're going to get it?
Yeah. I feel like they're going to win.
Yeah, they're going to win. We feel like they're going to do something, aren't they? I think they're Canada's team. They're going to do us proud no matter what happens.
Regular season games in Seattle often have a home field for the Jays, with fans in Western Canada making the trek across the border. One fan said he hadn't crossed the border since U.S. President Donald Trump took office and hadn't planned on it, but is making an exception for playoff baseball. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com.
620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast is brought to you by Linex Regina. Serious protection, killer looks, 1865 McCarra Street. Tonight, cloudy with a chance of showers and a low of 4. Tomorrow, cloudy, 60% chance of showers and a high of 10. For Friday, a mix of sun and cloud and a high of 9. For Saturday, sunny and a high of 10. Sunday, partly cloudy and 12. And for Monday, sunny and a high of 8. Right now, cloudy and cool, 9 degrees in Regina.
For 40 years, the team from Linex Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Linex Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Regina Motor Products early tire swap offer on now. Book before October 31st to save $10 on an on-rim and $20 on an off-rim tire changeover. Visit Regina Motor Products today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
The Riders are in Winnipeg on Friday to take on the Bombers. We'll catch up with Albert Awachi, who will be in the lineup this week. Hour number 2 of the Sports Cage. Welcome back. It's Maz in for Barty today. 306-936-6262. Prairieland Rentals text line. Gary from Winnipeg saying weather's not going to be great. Probably some rain, a little bit of wind. And no Nick Dembski. According to their injury report, he is out. And Trey Vavel, their ace return guy, may not play as well. Questionable for the game on Friday. We'll get the thoughts of Darian Durant at the start of hour number 3. We'll have a special Wednesday edition of Double Talk coming up. But right now, it's time to go inside the NHL with our insider, Eric Francis.
Now for Inside the NHL with Eric Francis on the Sports Cage. Inside the NHL is brought to you by Sports Select. Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportsselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer.
There he is from the home office with his fancy deep voice intro. Insider Eric Francis joins us on the Sports Cage.
That's more like it. Come on. It was very upsetting yesterday without a proper intro. It's
I know.
Makes
we had you on at a
bigger.
weird time. I know we had you on at a weird time. We were up against the clock. We didn't have any room. We didn't have any runway. The word runway, I think, is getting used a lot these days. We didn't have a lot of runway for us to kind of go down the crazy path. Sometimes we do. Eric Francis, we're a week into the NHL season. Some initial thoughts, because for some people the sky is already falling and other people are planning parades and renting temporary staging because there's going to be a Stanley Cup coming into their city.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I think a lot of people thought was that potentially Florida would falter early without Tkachuk, without Barkov. Their goalie's 37. Were they going to maybe, they got a big target on their back as two-time champs, and they've just continued to cruise along. They had a bit of a setback last night, but that's a wagon right there, that Florida team. Obviously, I'm not shedding much news to anybody, but that's kind of cool to see that you can count on them being a great team. And, in terms of real surprises, I don't know. I'm pretty high on Montreal, I have to be honest. I think they're only 2-2 or whatever. I haven't looked at the records. I find without the newspapers, I don't look at the standings that much anymore. Are you like me? Like when you were a kid, you always knew who the top 20 scorers in the league were and where everybody was in the Adams and the Norris and all that. And I find without the newspaper, I never look at the standings. All of a sudden, I'll look at Christmas. I go, oh, wow, I didn't know Nashville was that bad. Or, oh, wow, I didn't know so-and-so was that good. But anyway, Montreal impresses me. I like the way they start. I like the cut of their jib. I think that's a franchise moving in an incredibly good direction.
The Buffalo Sabres could be 0-4 tonight when they take on the Ottawa Senators. Is there a simple fix for Buffalo? Is it relocation? Can they make it work there? Because it just doesn't ever seem to get better. And you covered the Calgary Flames, and there's not a track record there of like multiple years of success and a lot of cups. But Buffalo seems to just already be dumpster fire, all caps. And we're three games in, going into game 4.
Yeah, I don't need a newspaper to tell me that the Buffalo Sabres are near the bottom of the standings every year. That's one thing that definitely hasn't changed. For many years it was terrible general manager. They made some horrible picks as their general manager. I still don't think they have the right general manager. I don't love the direction they're going even right now, and I don't understand a lot of their moves. Their goaltending's been an absolute mess. They got 1 million guys under contract right now, and none of them are good. It seems like many of them are injured. That's the gift that keeps on giving. If you don't like the Buffalo Sabres, this is Christmas every day because they're not getting any better anytime soon. Like you tell me, you look at it and you say, oh, no. They got the building blocks right there. Are these 3 or 4 guys? They're going to build around them. I don't even see that. Maybe relocation. I don't know if that's the answer. I can't think of anything else that can save these guys.
If you're a guy like an Alex Tuck, I said in hour number 1 that probably every player on that roster has told their agent, if there's any sniff of anything to get me out of here, just yes, and just go. Like, I look at an Alex Tuck. Now, that's an asset on a lot of teams that, a lot of teams would love to have, and it seems like he just may waste away there because of just who they are.
Well, it's funny. Alex Tuck is a Buffalo native. Like, he's one of the only guys I think that actually probably wants to be there. If that's a possibility, he'd be one of the only guys. I mean, but I think of guys like Tage Thompson, same, that fits into the same category of what you're talking about. Let my agent know, boy, if I can get a chance to get out of here, please do so. Look, Rasmus Dahlin's a hell of a hockey player too, maybe the third best on the planet. But by himself, and with Tage Thompson, one year he's good, the next year he struggles. Tuck trucks along, and he says he's happy there. He says he wants to be part of the solution because he's from there. But you'd almost have to be from there to want to endure something like that full time for a lot of years.
One of the crazier stats, the New York Rangers have played 3 games at Madison Square Garden, and they haven't scored any goals yet. Have you ever seen that before? I don't think I ever have.
No, I haven't, and I've been watching that, not watching the games, but watching along with that. Like, after the 2 games, I was like, wow, that's amazing. You go your home opener, and then your next game, you still don't have a goal. 3 in a row. Holy cow. I thought, and I still think, the Rangers are going to be one of the bigger bounce-back teams this year, although obviously people have many reasons for concern there. But, they were awful last year, and on paper, I still think that that's actually not just a good team, but a deep team. And, I like a lot of the pieces they have. And I just can't understand why they can't figure it out. They changed their coach. You think that would give them a little bump at first, but that hasn't helped. They've got one of the best goalies in the world. You know that. And he's actually off to a pretty good start, just that nobody can score ahead of him. You got a great leader in JT Miller. Like, I could go on and on with the firepowers. The Zibanejad's got to bounce back soon. Panarin's a superstar. I love that team. I just don't understand why they can't figure that thing out over there.
The Edmonton Oilers won last night at MSG, shutting. Stu Skinner gets a shutout. It was 2-0. And I think of every time that they kind of win early in the season, because thinking about what you said yesterday, that it just kind of masks the problem a little bit and maybe puts it off a day or two. You know, that thing that frog that you're going to have to swallow sooner or later or whatever. But Stu Skinner last night, 2-0, put that off just a little bit, because you had said maybe you play Calvin Pickard a bunch on this trip and just trying to get this thing flushed out. If it's going to get flushed out, do it now and get it rolling. Do you see it the same way that Stu buys himself just a little bit of time every once in a while?
Absolutely, exactly. He keeps doing these sort of things, and I would love to know what Connor McDavid thinks, and I'm sure he shared his thoughts with management. When he went in and told them he was going to basically be donating $8 to $10 million a year to their salary cap, I don't think you do that without a plan. It's like people who donate tens and hundreds of millions of dollars to universities. You don't just do it. You do it with the knowledge of what is planned with that money. And I would love
you're getting
to know
a library named after you.
That's right. And you want to know exactly where it's going. Otherwise, you don't. A lot of people wouldn't do it. So I would love to know what he thinks about Stuart Skinner, and we'll never find out publicly unless he gets traded. Or they just they get rid of him. Then I guess we know what Connor thinks. But look, I think Connor McDavid's a very loyal guy, and I think that he probably loves Stuart Skinner and thinks he's very highly of him. There's probably a faction of people in the organization that still believe in him because he has pieced together some pretty darn good runs in regular seasons and in playoffs. But it always seems at the end of the day, he's always just a little bit short. And we from the outside just can't fathom that they think that they could win a cup with this guy in the net. The whole hockey world says, well, they'll never win unless they figure out their goaltending. Yet maybe you just wonder if inside they still think that we're all wrong and maybe they're right. I don't know. We're going to find out. I still think you're going to see a heavier dose of Calvin Pickard moving forward. I'm not suggesting he's the answer, but I can tell you one thing. I'm with the rest of the world. Stuart Skinner definitely isn't the answer in my books.
Last night I was watching the Dodgers beat the Brewers, and then I turned over to the Flames game, and I'm like, what? It's 2-0 Flames? Look out. What about Vegas Mitch and Jack Eichel? And they're one of the deepest teams in the league. And then I went back to baseball, and I come back, and then Jack Eichel scored. It was 3-2, and I'm like, they got this. They got this. You were at the game last night. How good is Vegas up close?
Yeah, they're a juggernaut. I mean, if that's not a top 5 team, I don't know what is. Because not only do they have, some of the best skill in the league, they also are the biggest team in the league. And that still counts for something to me, especially over the course of a playoff series or a playoff run. And now you add Mitch Marner, who is notorious for disappearing in the playoffs. But I just feel like if you put him in the right position, he can really help that team even in the playoffs. So that's a scary good team. Look, Pavel Dorofeyev is off to a great start. I think everybody's seen that. He's got 5 goals, and I think he's right there with Jack Eichel in terms of leading the league in scoring. That's just another example. And I know he's been there 3-4 years now, but this team is deep. Mark Stone, I like to see that power play with all 5 forwards is absolutely terrifying. And to think that if they wanted to, they could go back to they could still put Jose Theodore, or Shea Theodore. Jose Theodore didn't sound right. Shea Theodore at the top of that power play as well. So, they're impressive. Even when the Flames are up 2-0, Flames have not fared well against Vegas. Most teams haven't over the years, but I don't think many people in Calgary were feeling all that safe with a 2-0 lead against a team that good. And Flames are now on a run. 3 games in a row, they've imploded in the third period. I know it scored 9-1 in their last 3 games in the third period. And that used to be their hallmark. Like the last couple of years under Ryan Huska, the third period is when you knew you were going to get your best effort from the Calgary Flames. Now they've flipped the script, and the thirds are atrocious. So it'll be interesting. Some growing pains in Calgary, that's for sure. Their schedule is hellish. They play again tonight in Utah, and their first 10 games are as tough a slate as I've seen to open a season. So they're putting their faith in Devin Cooley, their backup goalie, tonight. And I think a lot of people are pretty nervous about what could happen.
I want to get to the Flames in just a sec, but before we wrap on Vegas, today is October 15th. It is the deadline that the NHL came out and said that teams could sign the 5 players that were suspended because of the trial. Now, whether or not, that's a whole other issue. There's a lot of morality. So the rumor is that the Vegas Golden Knights could potentially be signing Carter Hart to help with their goaltending situation. Adin Hill got hurt last night. Are you hearing that as well, that is a possibility that they may sign him?
That's what I'm hearing. I mean, I was tweeting that last night as well. I mean, I think the fact that Adin Hill got hurt puts an exclamation mark on what I think we've all been expecting for a while here, which is Carter Hart will land in Vegas. And I don't know how badly hurt Adin Hill is. My guess is it's not that bad, but he did leave the game. And my goaltending expert next to me on the panel last night, Brent Cron, was pretty sure it was a groin, which can be a nagging thing that can last for a long time. So, I think they really have to believe right now that signing a guy like Hart. Look, I'm not convinced Carter Hart's the solution. I'm not convinced that after a couple of years out of the NHL, Carter Hart can be an effective goalie anymore. I'm not sure. It's a gamble. It's a big gamble. It's also a big PR gamble. And we'll see if Vegas is willing to roll those dice. I think that they're the organization, or one of the few organizations, that would say, PR issues be damned. We think it can help our team, and we're going to sign that guy. Kind of like the old LA Raiders of old. It didn't matter, what your past was or what you brought to the organization. If we thought you could win, they would sign you. And I'm not saying that's the way they've always been. I just don't think that they're too worried about that aspect to it.
Flames are in Utah tonight. They'll play the Mammoth, and you'd mentioned Devin Cooley will get the start. So far, it's been the Dustin Wolf show. One of the things about the game last night, and everybody is so high on Zane Parekh. all the talent in the world. But in the third period, and I caught this live, the thing that worries me about him, incredibly talented, but he's very slight. And he took that hit at the blue line from Colton Sissons, knocked him down. And I've always thought, I remember before the draft, wrote this long piece about all of these prospects. What if you had to play 7 games against the Florida Panthers forecheck and you were an up-and-coming defenseman that could be drafted? What would that do to you, and where would that put you in the draft if that's how players came out? And we know that it doesn't work that way. I like him as a player, a lot of talent. It's his size and durability that I worry about.
Yeah, and his size is a factor in his struggles to play defensive hockey in the National Hockey League. Look, everyone will tell you that it's the hardest position other than goaltending to play in the National Hockey League at a young age. It takes many, many years for guys, even some of the greats, to really make their mark as a defensive player or as a defenseman, period, at either end of the ice, and be really effective when you're only 19 years of age. So Zane Parekh has a long way to go. I still think he's going to be a star in the league. I really do. You can see the skating ability, the mind that he has. He's a smart kid, the creativity, the offensive mindedness. These are all things the Calgary Flames need and crave, and everyone should be excited about him. But he's still really struggling, in my eyes, to make that transition from junior to the NHL. And that means keeping your head up a little more than you probably ever did in junior. It means learning how to defend. It means realizing that if you get a half step behind someone, you're done. You can't make up for it with your superior skill like he did in junior. So he's just got a long way to go. And like I said, if this all sounds negative, it's not intended to be. He's not in a place right now, to me, where he's an NHL everyday defenseman. He'll get there, but there are going to be a lot of growing pains that go with it, including getting rocked like last night. Maybe that was a good thing for him because he didn't get hurt, and he's going to be back in the lineup tonight. But I saw that too, and I thought the same thing. Boy, that was a play that I don't think many veterans would have got caught. They would have got caught up in. He didn't have his head up at a time when he probably should have.
The Blues were in Calgary on the weekend, and they beat the Flames. Am I missing something? Do the Blues have a really good team this year? Because nobody seems to be talking about them, but they're solid, right?
I think so. You look at those 2 players they got from the Edmonton Oilers last year. They both really started to blossom last year. I love this Jake Neighbors, Calgary kid. I think he's fantastic. Jimmy Snuggerud is their latest and greatest. A collegiate hotshot that made the jump this year to the NHL. He's got a couple goals the other night and shooting the puck a lot. He's on their first power play unit. That's how much they think of him already. Jordan Kyrou is a future star. Well, he's already a star, I think. But the back end, there's some veterans back there. But I just think that they've got some real depth. And Jordan Binnington, again, is on a mission to prove that he belongs on the Olympic team. And, the whole country will continue to doubt him. But he's on that mission to prove everybody wrong. I love that team. And I think that might be the best general manager in the National Hockey League, Doug Armstrong. And I know this is his last year where he kind of steps aside and is more of a mentor, but he'll still have a say in hockey decisions. And with him as the GM, I think, not only are they good right now, I think they're going to get even better because he's a guy who's smart enough and savvy enough to still find a way to add as the season goes along. So, St. Louis Blues, sneaky good. I like the way you put that.
Well, the reason why I asked, because the Chicago Blackhawks are in town. They will take on St. Louis tonight, and it's year 3 of Connor Bedard. And obviously, being in Regina, we got a chance to see what he did at the junior level, and it seemed unfair at times. But now it's year 3 of Connor in the NHL. He's got a little more around him than he has had in the past, but is it time for Connor to kind of separate from the pack and start kind of showing out? Even he may not have the reinforcements, but to be that guy, because McDavid didn't always have, the supporting cast he has now. He kind of had to start doing it on his own. Like, what are your expectations for a Bedard in year 3?
Yeah, isn't it funny? The hype is gone surrounding Connor Bedard. Like The common talk last year around the league was often, when you talk to people around the league, Celebrini had kind of passed him. He was the next shiny object that everybody could focus on. And I really do believe Celebrini is and will continue to be the better of the two players moving forward. And who could have fathomed we'd say that about Bedard after that incredible junior career he had? So, look, you said that Blues are sneaky good. Chicago's sneaky bad. I still don't feel like they've done not only is it not a talented roster, they haven't surrounded Bedard on his own line with enough, if you ask me. I just think that they needed to go out and get two guys who could really support him better. I don't like what they've done, and I think it's to his detriment. So yeah, his stock continues to sink. Now, do I think he's still going to get 70 points? Yeah, I do. But do I think Celebrini is capable of 90, 95 points? Yes, I absolutely do. So that's where my focus is on how great he is.
Celebrini, just because he's a bigger man. Like, he's just built differently. Like, he's more around the table. Much like to correct the Bedard, and Sam Bennett is the perfect example. When these kids come straight from junior and they spend no time in the American Hockey League and they don't get a chance to develop and the spotlight is always on, like, look at Shane Wright. Shane Wright, who had to go down to the minors, is actually turning out to be a pretty decent hockey player for Seattle because he had to grow to learn how to play pro-style hockey. Bedard's never going down to the American Hockey League. I get that. But it's to the detriment of his development. And if you guys were already talking in the press about, so he's moved on, could you imagine what the Blackhawks may be saying? Quietly, never out loud, but internally.
They've just got to keep asking themselves, what can we do to make him better? I mean, that's what the whole organization's got to be focused on. And I don't think they've done him. They haven't served him well in that regard. So they'll continue, I'm sure, to try different guys. And this Frank Nazar they've got is a talented young man, but they don't have him playing with him. He's on a different line. I'm sure they see power play time together, but I don't know. It is going to be fascinating to see, how this management survives without seeing Bedard thrive. If he doesn't thrive, it's a failure of management, if you ask me.
I kind of like what the Vancouver Canucks are doing this year under Adam Foote. Man, remember him? He was a tough SOB of a hockey player.
Yeah,
and I think he commands. And it's not like Tocchet couldn't command the bench or whatever. But when I see Adam Foote and I see, is anybody going to say no? I wouldn't say anything. I like what they've done. They're playing with some juice and some pep, and they look aggressive, and they're throwing the body around. Even Elias Peterson seems to be invested or interested, at least in the first couple of games that I saw.
Yeah, I didn't see the same thing when it comes to Pedersen, that's for sure. But I will.
Okay, well, I have low bar, Eric. It's a low bar for the Pedersen front.
Yeah, baby steps. Look, I do think they'll bounce back to being better than they were last year. I mean, somewhere between 2 years ago and last year is where the real Vancouver Canucks will probably finish this year, in my opinion. Which means that they'll challenge for a playoff spot right till the end. I'm not sure they'll make it, but I think that they're going to be right there. Look, it's such a fascinating study, isn't it? Because that pairing of Roenick and Quinn Hughes is deadly. It's one of the best pairs in the NHL. And with that as one of your bases, and Demko has looked fantastic so far this year.
Yeah, he has.
That'll carry you a long, long way if he returns to old form. And up front, they do have enough talent, and enough emerging talent too. So, look, I always say they traded the wrong guy. They traded JT Miller because he cared too much, and they kept the guy who cares too little. And I still think that that's a big problem. I think today he came out and said that he's got to be better. He's got to be better. Well, we've heard that for 2 years now, or a year and a bit. So he's kind of one of the keys, really. If he can get back to his old form where he's up to 100 points, I don't worry about that team at all, but I'm not sure he'll ever get there. So it'll be interesting in Vancouver. But again, I don't say anything bad about Vancouver. I'm too scared of the social media mob associated with that organization.
Who's the guy? Last name Sherwood. I saw him on my Twitter feed last week. He was getting kicked out of the game or thrown off the ice. He was giving somebody the bird. I'm like, who is this? I like this guy already. Hello, Vancouver Canucks fans.
Yeah, you talk about a guy who cares a lot. Like, that's Kiefer Sherwood. This guy, I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, I think he broke the NHL record last year for most hits in a season, or he was up there anyway. He hits everything that moves. He's a spark plug. He's exactly the kind of guy you want in your organization, throwing his weight around and trying to create things and make things happen. And so, yeah, if you tell me, I didn't see that he got kicked out last night, but that does not surprise me at all, because if he was in the thick of the battle, that's exactly what Kiefer Sherwood is all about. And name me a team in the league that doesn't want a guy like that in their lineup.
We'll wrap on this. We played the video a couple of weeks ago. Since the Vancouver Canucks have never won a Stanley Cup, there's not a lot of banners hanging from the ceiling. But in early September, Bryan Adams played the arena. And to commemorate that, because I guess he opened the arena, they hung a banner for him from the ceiling. So that's what Canucks fans have to look up to when they go to hockey games in Vancouver. It's as good as it's probably going to get.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
And he played the winning.
All right, Eric. I'll let you go get ready to watch that Flames Mammoth game tonight, whatever that entails. Hockey in Utah. All right. And we will catch up with you on Monday. It's our Insider NHL Eric Francis, brought to you by Sports Select. Getting in on more of the sports action you want as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Sports Select retailer. Time to take a break. When we come back, it was a closed practice for the Saskatchewan Roughriders today, but Dave Thomas had a chance to catch up with Saskatchewan Roughrider Albert Awachi. We'll hear from him next on the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Friday is game day as the Riders take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk and Tegan Whitkos at 3. The pregame show's at 5. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 6. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network is brought to you by Young's Equipment, GMS Insurance, and PlayNow.com. Stream every moment of Rider football at SportsCage.com. Proven by countless farmers, 900 Series fence sprayers set the standard for your crops, and it's available at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Featuring 370 horsepower, 132-foot boom, 1,580-gallon tank, smart drive 4-wheel steering, and liquid logic recirculating boom, the 900 Series fence sprayers are backed by a 3-year, 2,000-hour Gold Star warranty. Leaders drive Fendt. To learn more about making your crops successful, visit Nick's Service today, nickservice.com.
October is Customer Appreciation Month at Extreme Hockey and Umbrella Marketing. It's pretty easy. Just submit your receipt for your corporate or team apparel order, and you could be one of the lucky winners at month end to receive up to $1,000 back towards your purchase. Locally owned, community-oriented, and customer-focused. And of course, don't forget about their price match guarantee. Extreme Hockey and Sport, Umbrella Marketing, 1425 McIntyre Street, and conveniently located in the Cooperator Center.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Doug had questions, he talked to Brian Gawley.
He's always there to answer your questions, and if he's not there, he gets back to you very shortly. You never know when you got a concern. When it comes to your portfolio, sometimes waiting is torture.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone.
I would definitely recommend Brian because he's done well for us.
Call Brian Gawley of Smart Investing Solutions, 306-546-2533.
Get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
Ugh, what do I want for supper? There's a bag of baby carrots, a slice of cheese that looks haunted.
Step away from the sad cheese, Dave.
What, the fridge? Since when do you talk?
Since you've been standing here for 10 minutes whispering pizza or cereal like it's a hostage negotiation. I'll make this simple. Order Western Pizza. You are welcome.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
For 40 years, the team from Line X Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Line X Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
Last night, LA Dodgers starting pitcher Yoshinobu Yamamoto ended up throwing a complete game, which is unheard of in the majors of baseball in 2025. 9 innings, giving up 3 hits, struck out 7. Dodgers win 5-1. They lead the Brewers 2-0. That is incredible. I'm like, are they taking him out? I'm like, no, they're not taking him out. Colson, who do you got as a clutch performer?
So, my clutch performer, a kid by the name of Matthew McQuinston, sorry. Get the name right. And I've got the video clip here, so we're going to play that for everybody. But basically,
Hawkins.
You can hear the play-by-play.
We wanted to pitch it, had to stiff arm somebody.
Play-by-play.
And now he gets out to the 40-yard line.
And gets called down by the coach.
Matthew is out. Headed down to the field. Have a good game, Matthew. Good luck. Matthew McQuiston is in a first. On WJR. We've lost a member of the booth to the field.
That was wild.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So
we're going to
cool
watch
Matthew.
As
He's
Matthew
a
makes his way down to the field.
Trenton High School.
Pretty cool.
And got called down to go play for the varsity team. So, I'm like, I don't see that happening very often. That's for sure.
I think the closest thing, we asked Andrew Harris about it, like if things got crazy for the Riders injury, could he suit up? But I guess there's a rule in the CFL. You can't, if you're a coach, you can't play. So that kid was in the broadcast booth doing the game, but he had his uniform on. And the coach is like, all right, we need you. Come suit up. It's a good thing. If you saw the video, he didn't have shoulder pads on, but before they put him in the game, he ended up putting his shoulder pads on.
Yeah, he got fully fitted for it. But so does this mean, technically speaking, then Dave and Luke could maybe go down and play if needed? Because I don't think anyone would complain to having Luke back in the lineup, maybe even just as a hype man. I don't know how Dave would help us, honestly. But
I think, because we've asked Darian and we've asked Charleston, I think if you asked a lot of former players, even if it's 4, 5, 6 years on since they played, they probably always say they could in a certain situation. I think Darian said he could stand in there and sling it. He couldn't run anymore.
Yeah, and then Luke
like
always says, whichever guy says that is lying.
Yeah, like Charleston said he could get at the quarterback, but he ain't going to be chasing anybody down the field.
Yeah.
So I totally get that. That's your clutch performer for Nick's service. Saskatchewan Roughriders on the road on Friday. They'll take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. It's a must-win situation for the Bombers as they're fighting for their playoff lives. They've been in and out of the crossover playoff spot. They're fighting with BC, Calgary, and the Edmonton Elks, who are nipping at their heels now. So it's going to be a big game. After practice today, Dave Thomas had a chance to catch up with Saskatchewan Roughrider Albert Awachi.
Albert Awachi got one of the best smiles in the entire league. It never
phases you or seems to leave your face. How much fun are you having this year?
First off, I appreciate that, Dave. I'm having a lot of fun out here, just being with my boys here, with the great staff here in Rider Nation, just, the electricity at the stands giving me every time I come out that tunnel. So it's always great energy here, and I'm always fortunate to be here.
How are you feeling at this point of the year? I know you've been battling on and off throughout the course of the season, but where are you at individually?
I'm feeling optimistic. I think the timing is just going to work out how it does. We have a great group in there. We can really rely on each other. Really internal competition in there as well. We push each other. We get advice from each other. So it's a great room in there. I'm not worried whoever's out there. And if I'm out there, I'm going to do my best thing. So I think it's good timing. We're pushing. Well, we're clinched the playoff, but we got to focus on 1-0 this week, and that's where my mind's at now.
A lot of people point to the fact that how this team has gone ahead and really committed to run the football. How nice is it to know that, hey, we're going to get an opportunity to smash some mouths?
Absolutely. That's always a nice thing to do, especially when it gets colder, winter. That's what the playoffs are about, smash mouth football. You look at the past couple seasons, most of the teams that have been in the Grey Cup have been really relied on their run game. So we've established that. We want to keep establishing that as the 4 point and definitely set the tone for that. And also everyone else in the receiver room can do their thing too. So there's a lot of ways that we can stir up a win.
2019, some people look back and say, wow, it's been 6 years since this team hosted the West Final. You were on that team in 2019. Can you draw comparisons between that team and this team and where you're at right now?
Yeah, so comparisons, all right, so there was, you got AJ to Olette, both of them finished pretty much All-Stars, I'm pretty sure, top of their class, and then we had, I think different quarterbacks, both number 7, different flavors, I'd say. Trevor, he's more like a general in the huddle, whereas Cody is more like he had like a motivational in the moment type of vibe, but here it just feels like we're more in control, more composed. So many all-stars from different teams. I remember my battles against Calgary with Mike Rose, and now he's on our team. Or battles with Hamilton when Michael Johnson was there. Now he's with our team. So even the defense and the offense, you can see there's veteran presence all around. Obviously, Yosh being one of them, Ferlin being one of them. So just a lot more better communication and flow throughout the offense.
So having experienced getting a bye and into the Western Final, how important is that?
It's definitely important. We have some banged up players, but we also have players stepping up too. So the more time that we have to really flex our playbook and just see what everyone can do, get everyone comfortable, get everyone familiar with each other, that builds up into that first round of the play or second round in the playoffs for us. So, yeah.
So if you go back to 2019, you had an opportunity to prepare and understand what you needed to do to get your body right and to get the team right. How much experience can you draw on for that here in 2025?
Yeah, I know with that 2019 campaign in the playoffs, I know there was a lot of short yardages that definitely hurt us. I think there was 4 or 5 of them that we're struggling with. Even the one at the goal line that hit the bar, that's one of them. I think now we've hit maybe 7 or 8 straight short yardage plays. So I think we've definitely locked that down. And plus, we have a lot more explosives as well compared to that 2019 team. So I think going into this campaign, I think we have, like I said, a lot of ways to carve out a win, and we can rely on any asset of it.
So you go back to the player you were in 2019. How have you changed?
Yeah, just more experience. I think the game has slowed down for me. 2019, I was just ruthless, but there was a little more bit of a tunnel vision. I was a little younger. It was my first season starting, whereas this season is going into year 8, year 9. I think this is more like I kind of see the full picture. I can see what the defense blitzing from miles away. I know the tendencies. I know how each player on defense play off of each other. Like I said, Coach Harris has us in there really studying really hard, looking at the film, so we know how the one half works off the other half, or how the rotations work, or how they roll coverage. So we definitely have a better scoop going into the game with the insight that we have prior with our preparation.
Last year's West Final was in Winnipeg. You get the opportunity to host the West Final here at Mosaic Stadium. What does that mean?
I mean, that's what you plan for that when you start the season. You want to go have a strong start, strong middle, and finish strong. So having to be able to clinch it 2 weeks prior to the season ending, I think that says that we're stepping in the right direction, but we still have a lot more to do. And it starts here with 1-0 against Winnipeg.
So I guess with the possibility that you may want to run a seal block on me or something, I'll ask this. This isn't a meaningful game. This is a big stretch for the team as you head down towards the playoffs, right?
every game is a meaningful game. You know, we always want to get the right momentum, making sure that we're feeling good when we look at the tape after the game and say, hey, you know what, everything's clicking. We're making our executions. We're making our right reads, and no MAs, no anything. And plus, on top of that, we want to be the physical, dominant team. So when the next team looks at us, whether that's BC next week or whatever, or it's the first round or next round in the playoffs, they're looking at a tape and they're realizing, you know, we're coming in for a battle, and that's what we're going to bring every time.
Thank you for not getting physical on me, Albert. All the best.
Appreciate you, Dave. Thank you.
Albert Awachi, Saskatchewan Roughrider. There's a guy you probably don't want to be staring down across the line of scrimmage. Yeah, one of the holdovers from 2019. It's only 6 years, but doesn't 6 years in the CFL seem like a lifetime ago? Especially what we would face in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Like, holy, it just seems like a completely, if it's 6 years, it seems like a decade and a half ago of Rider football. But Albert's been through it all. Yeah, said, we know there's going to be no Nick Dembski for the Bombers. He's injured. There could be no Trey Vavel. That's their return game right there. He's questionable. So we'll see. And apparently the weather forecast isn't great. It's going to be playoff football weather for sure. It's another sellout. We know that. They've been selling out games all season, even when Ottawa would roll into town. Jake, it's going to be a battle. They're fighting for their playoff lives because there's not many chances for them left. There's a crazy scenario that somebody figured out on social media today that if a bunch of teams ended up at 9-9, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers could end up out of the CFL playoffs. I don't know that that's going to happen. But Friday's Rider game, this is no gimme for Rider Nation, even with Jake Merritt quarterback. The 620 CKRM Rider Broadcast Network, brought by the Cooperators, has countdown to kickoff on Friday starting at 3, which means no Sportscage on Friday. The Rider pregame show will go at 5, and Dave and Luke will have the call. Bombers and Riders kick off at 6 from Princess Auto Stadium. And when the Riders play, get the KFC Game Day Special. The Big Crunch is just $4.95, and the Big Crunch Combo for $7.95 at participating KFC locations. Time to take a break. When we come back, we got the ticker and talk a little baseball right here on the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
October is Customer Appreciation Month at Extreme Hockey and Umbrella Marketing. It's pretty easy. Just submit your receipt for your corporate or team apparel order, and you could be one of the lucky winners at month end to receive up to $1,000 back towards your purchase. Locally owned, community-oriented, and customer-focused. And of course, don't forget about their price match guarantee. Extreme Hockey and Sport, Umbrella Marketing, 1425 McIntyre Street, and conveniently located in the Cooperator Center.
All the farmland and equipment you could need are available at auction this fall with Ritchie Brothers. A wide variety of farmland auctions across Western Canada will begin in earnest in October and run into December to get you ready for the next season. With new parcels of land and equipment continually added to their inventory, make sure to visit their website so you never miss an opportunity. Head over to rbauction.com to get started. Again, that's rbauction.com.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Dennis had questions, he talked to Brian Golly.
Our previous investor, he did everything by looking it up in the book. Brian seems to have a lot of research done on it, and he just doesn't pick stuff up and throw it at you. He makes sure that the investments are researched.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions.
We certainly do recommend him.
306-546-2533.
Freeze Tallman wants you to get her done before the winter. They can save you time and hassle by delivering your building materials directly to your home or cottage. They have siding, roofing, brown-treated lumber, composite decking, aluminum railing, fencing, everything you need to finish your outdoor building projects before snow falls. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
SEIU West members are
phlebotomist, food service worker, security officer, plumber,
continuing care assistant,
porter, licensed practical nurse, medical device reprocessing worker, purchasing agent,
environmental services worker,
social services worker, cook, health information management practitioner, switchboard operator,
distribution worker.
The backbone of your public health care system. Learn more at seius.ca.
Elevate your baling experience with the Heston by Massey Ferguson 1 Series round baler. With a dependable, long-lasting design for challenging conditions and high-speed baling, this machine features swing-away net loading and an optional hydraulic drop floor for easy obstruction clearing. Quality hay production starts today with Heston by Massey Ferguson. See the Massey Ferguson 1 Series round baler at Nick's Service in Emerald Park. For more information, visit nickservice.com.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know. That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sports, Regina's locally owned one-stop hockey shop. Now with a price match guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street.
First pitch tonight in Seattle for the American League Championship Series. Game 3 goes at 6:08. That's what I love about baseball. They're like, no, it's not 6. It's not 6:05. First pitch is going to be at 6:08. The Jays are down 2-0 to the Mariners. Shane Bieber gets the start for the Jays. Now, if you remember in Shane's last start, he didn't make it out of the third inning against the Yankees. And a lot of people didn't like John Schneider's decision to pull him because he was doing okay. It wasn't catastrophic. The Yankees and the Mariners are two different teams. Here's hoping Bieber makes it through 3 innings against Seattle. George Kirby will go for the Mariners tonight. Oof, the Jays get down 3-0. I don't know. Then you got to win 4 straight. Yikes. Over in the National League Championship Series, travel day. Dodgers up 2-0. Game 3 tomorrow in LA at Chavez Ravine. Hockey tonight, Western Hockey League in Moose Jaw. The Kamloops Blazers in town. Their one and only visit of the year. It's funny if you're like, it's the friends, family, and relatives games from anybody and everybody that's on the Kamloops roster. Anybody and everybody that's in and around Saskatchewan will be in Moose Jaw tonight watching them play. Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, the Flin Flon Bombers, the Yorkton Terriers, Kindersley Clippers, and Estevan to take on the Bruins. Prairie Junior Hockey League, 3 games. The Regina Silver Foxes in Assiniboia to play the Southern Rebels. The Regina Capitals in Pilot Butte to play the Storm. And the Prince Albert Timberjacks are in Saskatoon to take on the Wesleys. National Hockey League tonight. There's 4 games. Connor Bedard, as we mentioned with Eric, taking on the St. Louis Blues. It's go time for Connor, but like he said, they haven't even surrounded him with anybody to play with on his line, let alone his team. Other action, the Flames are in Utah to take on the Mammoth. And the Ottawa Senators are in Buffalo to take on the Sabres. Colson, I'm not the gambling expert on this show. That would be one Barney. Do we know Barney's middle name? That would be Barney L. Shrinkerek. Let's just put an L in there. He's the gambling expert. But the sprinkle of the day, Colson, at Sports Select, if you're taking the over, which is 6 goals, that's going to pay you $190. So let's take the. Are we good spending Barney's money if we take the over at $190? Buffalo's goaltending is awful. Ottawa, who knows? Brady Tkachuk is out. Safe bet? Are there any safe bets? There's no money back guarantee on the sprinkle of the day. So tonight, sprinkle of the day is going to be the over Ottawa Senators, Buffalo Sabres. And we don't have long to wait. Face-off there is going to go in about 10 minutes' time. Time to take a break. Hour 3 of the Sports Cage is coming up, and a special Wednesday edition of Double Talk. In minutes, we'll check in with our Grey Cup winning Plaza of Honor quarterback. He's ours on the Sports Cage. He's Darian Durant, and he'll join us in minutes on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM is your home to country's greatest hits and the 90s at 9. 1 full hour featuring the biggest hits of the 90s. Garth, Reba, Alan, Shania, George, and so much more. No cassette tape or CDs required, and 90s mullets are optional. 90s at 9 for the town of Wolseley and the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know. That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Howdy, Wood Country Woody again. You know, you and me ain't so different. We both love to sit on a sunny deck with a cool beverage instead of sanding the thing all the time. And when I heard TimberTech composite decking material is super low maintenance, well, that sold me right there. They didn't even need to mention that it features a sweet little hidden fastener system or that they also have the treated lumber that goes underneath. It's easy, it's pretty, it's TimberTech from Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale, wood-country.com.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 5050 is presented by ISC.
It's the start of a new year. Time to get financially fit. If you're looking to open an RRSP or a TFSA, maximize an existing account, or update your investment mix, Cooperators can provide the personalized advice and service you need. Want to start the new year on the right financial foot? Contact your local advisor to build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
The best bulls on the planet are coming for the bulls and their riders. Those 8 seconds go by in a heartbeat. 8 seconds to become a champion or nothing. This is Canada, and this is the PBR. The professional bull riders buck into SaskTel Center with 2 huge shows October 24th and 25th with the Saskatoon Classic. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.ca.
Here they are, the Cowboys of the PBR!
When it comes to your financial future, do you know where you're headed or what happens when you retire? That's where Chad Reach, Senior Wealth Advisor, and the team at GP Financial Services and Oviso Wealth come in. They offer independent, local advice, smart client-focused planning for every stage of life. Visit gpfinancial.ca. Your family, your plan. With Chad Reach, 306-584-2755.
Mutual funds and other securities are offered through Oviso Wealth, a division of Oviso Financial Inc.
See the latest in wedding fashions and trends at the Most Incredible Bridal Show this Sunday, October 19th, noon to 4 at the Connexus Arts Center. Over 100 wedding experts on hand and nearly $40,000 in prizes up for grabs. More details at mostincrediblebridalshow.com. Last call to get your tickets to see Darius Rucker live at the Brand Center Monday, October 20th, playing all the hits from All Right to Wagon Wheel. Tickets at Ticketmaster.ca. And 620 CKRM is proud to support Agriculture in the Classrooms, Acres for Education. Funds raised through the campaign will help students and teachers experience agriculture firsthand through field trips to farms and ag events. Every dollar donated this year will be matched by JGL up to $25,000. Check out AITC.sk.ca.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station, broadcasting live from downtown Regina.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news for Echo Sound in Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Prominent Saskatchewan lawyer and former MLA Tony Merchant has died at age 80 after a battle with cancer. Merchant was the founder of Merchant Law Group and was best known for leading class action lawsuits, including the $1.9 billion residential school settlement. Born in Yorkton, he also served briefly as a Liberal MLA and ran federally. Merchant's long career earned him several honours, including Queen's Counsel and multiple service medals. His funeral is set for next week. The Regina Food Bank has launched the 6th Mosaic Million Meal Challenge, seeking $400,000 by early November to help provide 1 million meals. CEO John Bailey says demand has grown sharply, with nearly 23,000 people now relying on the food bank.
A million meals will help tens of thousands of folks in our community. The way our model works is you can receive essentially 10 days worth of food every 2 weeks. So in that, I don't have enough fingers and toes to do the math on it, but tens of thousands of people will be helped with that million meals.
Mosaic will match the first $75,000 raised. Bailey encourages people to donate online for faster processing as the campaign runs through harvest season into the holidays. Regina's annual Fall Street Sweep begins Wednesday in areas with mature trees, including Cathedral, Lakeview, North Central, the Crescents, and the General Hospital area. City crews will sweep weekdays from 4 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. through October 29th, weather allowing. Residents are encouraged to park off-street and use the free Regina Sweep and Plow app to get alerts about sweeping days. The University of Saskatchewan is launching a 2-year Master of Public Health Nursing program. The online graduate program is designed to be flexible and accessible, as students don't need to live in Saskatoon. College of Nursing Associate Professor and Graduate Chair Dr. Wanda Martin says public health nursing skills are essential as communities face rising food costs, homelessness, and poverty. The first class is to begin next September. Alberta may soon no longer be known as Wild Rose Country on its license plates. The province is looking to change the slogan to Strong and Free. Premier Danielle Smith says the slogan is a nod to Canada's anthem.
Many of the design options feature authentic Alberta imagery, iconic places, landscapes, and symbols that showcase the beauty and diversity of our province.
Residents will also get to vote on a new design for the plates, and Smith says the winning design will be announced later this fall. And Toronto Blue Jays fans will be at T-Mobile Park in Seattle tonight for Game 3 in the American League Championship Series. Mick Thiessen traveled from the Vancouver area to take in the game and has some advice for the Jays.
I think they got to rely on their star players, their batters. They got to start working, right? They haven't been the last few games, and they need to show up. So that's what we're hoping for. And whether it's home runs or just getting runs and getting the hits, that's the most important thing.
The Jays trail the Mariners 2-0 in the series and need a win tonight or tomorrow night to stay alive. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
This fall, there's something strange in your kid's backpack.
No signal.
Back in my day, we busted ghosts. Now we bust bad cell plans. That's why I go to Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer. They've got the latest phones, data plans, internet, and Max TV Stream, and way less slime. Your phone just tried to FaceTime a ghost? Who are you going to call? Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Qu'Appelle. EchoSound.ca.
620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast is brought to you by Croft Electric. 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all your electrical needs. CroftElectric.com and on all socials. And it's for Line-X Regina, Serious Protection, Killer Looks at 1865 McCarra Street. Now, here's your Precision Weather Forecast.
Pattern will remain a bit unsettled with some isolated shower activity tonight as a trough of low pressure advances from the west. A developing area of low pressure to our south will bring another round of shower activity tomorrow night into early Friday. The good news is skies will clear out nicely for the weekend with delightful weather and a bit of a warming trend by Sunday. Mostly cloudy with isolated showers, lows near 4 degrees tonight. South to southeast winds will be light, chance of rainfall 30%. Mainly cloudy, a high of 12 degrees tomorrow. North to northeast winds at 10 to 20 with a 20% chance of rainfall. Cloudy with spotty showers to tomorrow night. Lows near 3. Chance of rain increases to 50%. North to northwest winds at 10 to 20. Showers end, then clearing on Friday with a high near 11. West to northwest winds at 20 to 40. Partly to mostly sunny near 10 degrees on Saturday and mostly sunny 14 on Sunday. With your 620 CKRM Precision Weather Forecast, I'm meteorologist Russ Murley.
For 40 years, the team from Linex Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Linex Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586-1333 to book.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Regina Motor Products early tire swap offer on now. Book before October 31st to save $10 on an on-rim and $20 on an off-rim tire changeover. Visit Regina Motor Products today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
You have about 45 minutes left to play SaskTel Pick the Score. If you want a pair of tickets to watch the Riders take on the Lions at Mosaic Stadium and have a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card, all you have to do is tell us who wins Friday between the Bombers and the Riders. Send your prediction along with your first and last name to 306-936-6262. Now, we get a lot of people that play Pick the Score, but they leave out that one little thing of, well, yes, we have 10 digits of your phone number, but we don't know who you are if you don't put your name on it. It's not call display like the early 90s. The best invention ever, right? If you were rich. If you had a second line, oof. Writing giant checks to SaskTel back then, Mom and Dad were. You were one of the lucky ones. Riders, Bombers, Friday, round 3. Can the Riders make it 3-0? It's Maz here in for Barney. He'll be back tomorrow. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline and bring in our Grey Cup champion quarterback, Darian Durant, for a special Wednesday edition of Double Talk.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
There's our guy Doubles. It's a little chilly in Regina today. It is a mid-October, cloudy, cool, 8 degrees. What's the weather like in Florida today? Darian, give us a little update in FLA.
Beautiful and sunny. Mid-80s today, which is perfect. Not too hot. Slight breeze off the water. It's just amazing.
But you've said when we've chatted before, you like this time of year weather in Saskatchewan because you're a guy that would sweat a lot. So when it cooled down a little bit, is this some of your favorite football weather, about 10 degrees, not a lot of wind?
Oh, that's perfect. That's what football is to me. Cool, not too hot, and you don't have to worry about the electrolytes that the guys have to use and all this extra stuff you have to do when it's super hot outside. So football weather to me is just cool, nice little breeze, and a jacket for the fans. That's perfect weather.
As a quarterback, did you ever wear a glove on your non-throwing hand when it got cold?
Early on in my career, I did. And, I just did that more so for grip. But, as technology improved and over time, They made the hand warmers that you were able to put inside the packs of hand warmers that you were able to put inside the actual hand warmer, and it kept my hands warm and kept a good grip on the football. So early on, before the technology was passed and you had to do what you had to do, the glove was the best way to go.
All right. Your former teammate Ryan Dinwiddie and his Toronto Argonauts showed up Friday at Mosaic. They played a gritty football game, and they hung in there. I thought the Riders, it was going to get out of control. No, they had other plans. That was a team. They were playing with pride. You could tell, like, it meant something to those guys, even when they knew they weren't going to win.
Yeah, I mean, look, I always said that some of the toughest games you're going to play it's against teams that have nothing to play for really as far as the standing goes, but they're playing for everything because of their livelihood. Their jobs are on the line. So I expected Toronto to come out and put up a huge fight just like they did. These guys get paid. They're pro athletes as well. And, they have something to play for. They want to put some good tape on film moving into the offseason. You never know who's watching. GMs definitely take a look at these games and see who's playing hard and see who from other teams they could use to fit their scheme. So you're not just playing for your job and the team you are on at the moment. You're playing for every team across the league.
Now, Seth Daggy was a one-time Saskatchewan Roughrider, and Jarrett Daggy told the story about when they came and they met you. I have ultimate respect after watching him on Friday. Was taken out of the game a couple of times. He hit his head, concussion protocol, all of that. Do you remember the story and meeting a young Jarrett Daggy when you were a rider?
I do. Actually, myself and Seth, we became pretty close, because a lot of the times, as older guys, we don't really take in the younger guys with warm feelings and regards and help these guys out. But Seth, it was just something about him, man. He was hungry. He was a young guy who just wanted to learn. And that's what kind of attracted me to Seth. So, just watching his brother out there, the toughness, he's showing everything that I saw in Seth. And, I wish Jarrett much luck going forward because, he's shown some flashes of being a good quarterback in this league, and I hope he can build on that.
Riders win 27-19. They lock up the West Final at home. Checked box. Boom. Then the news comes out yesterday. Jeremy O'Day and Corey Mace get extensions. Another checked box on the Rider Nation list. Those were no-brainer moves, were they not? Those extensions?
Absolutely. Those guys deserve it. I mean, seeing where they came from 3 years ago and then bringing in Coach Mace, making it to back-to-back Western Finals, he's just showing that he's a player's coach. He's a guy that the players love to play for. He relates to them. He's been in the fire, breakup champion. So there isn't anything that Coach Mace hasn't done as a player where he can't spew that knowledge down to the guys. So guys typically are drawn to players, coaches, especially a guy like Coach Mace, who seems to just have the locker room by the hand and knows how to handle each and every guy in there. And for Jeremy, I mean, my former teammate, this is just huge for him. I want to congratulate him on air because this is well-deserved for Jeremy. Coming from the Chris Jones era into where he is now, coming into his own, having the guys and the roster that he pretty much put together, and now he can finally say that these are his guys. So super proud of Jer and Coach Mace, and well-deserved.
Mace, yes, earned it. The O'Day thing for me is a little different because he's been around 25, 26 years. Darian, you've seen Rider Nation at their best, but you've also seen them at their worst when things don't go well. And Jeremy has had to live through that. Like, I can't imagine when you guys couldn't leave your house when things were going bad. You can't go to a grocery store. You can't go to a restaurant. Imagine being the general manager of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So there was a clip yesterday, and you could tell he was getting emotional. Like, he's been through it all and come out the other side and stayed classy. That's probably, and it's probably incredibly hard at times, Darian. Like, you've had people in your face telling you that you're no good. Like, how hard is that?
No question. It's very hard, but Jeremy's been through it. When you've gone through it as a player, you pretty much have a good feel for how the fans are, how everything runs in Saskatchewan. You understand the amount of pressure that's on you not only as a representative of the province. So he's been through it, and then to have his head being called for a few years ago, people wanting to run him out of town, saying that he's not worthy of the job, that he was just handed the job. So I'm just glad that he was given the opportunity to show what he could do with his guys. He has his guys in there now, and he's showing that once you give him full reign and he can do things in his way, he's worth every dollar that he's getting and the extension that he has. So, congratulations to Jeremy, man. He is well deserved.
17 of his draft picks are on the roster. If that's not putting a stamp on the team. So, Darian, this is an off-the-cuff idea, and I don't know what your plans are like, but how about we fly you up to Winnipeg Friday? We do a little autograph signing before the game for all the Rider fans that are going to be making the trek to Winnipeg. Are you up
You're
for
trying
it?
to get me in trouble. No way.
No way. Is the passport?
I don't want to.
No.
I don't want to get into that hostile environment. Not now. They have so much to play for. They're counting this win, so I do not want to be sitting outside of that stadium, with an environment that's going to be like Friday night.
Oh, they're fighting for their playoff lives. Jake Mayer is going to start in place of Trevor Harris. AJ Ouellette is going to get rest. But from the Bombers side of things, Zach's going to test that secondary. There's some new guys back there. He's going to do that, and they're going to want to get the run game going because it's supposed to be like cloudy, rainy, and 8 degrees. That's running the football weather.
Yeah, this is what Western football is like come October, November. This is what I talked about back in May when it comes to the best teams in the West. We're going to see what they can do when the weather gets cold. You can't throw the ball. It's windy. You can only throw the ball for possibly 2 quarters. You have to establish some sort of run game. And, this is right up Winnipeg's alley. And like you said, this is a game that they're going to do everything in their power to win. And, it could possibly have been a trap game or tough for the Riders if they had played their starters, because I just think it'll be 2 different type of intensities between those teams. And, you don't want your starters to go out there after you've clinched the West. You have nothing to really play for. And you don't want to go against a team that's has everything on the line.
The Edmonton Elks are in BC on Friday. And the Elks are writing a nice story, keeping their slim, but they're there, playoff hopes alive after beating Winnipeg last week, 25-20. But they're going in to play the Lions. And the Lions, this is as good as they've looked all season. But Cody's a gamer. You got Nathan Rourke. Let's start with Matthew Betts. When you knew there was a defensive end or a D lineman that was kind of in the zone and on fire, what did that do to you to a quarterback? Because it seems like right now Matthew Betts is a bit unstoppable. How would you approach a guy that was on a hot streak when you knew he was lined up across from you?
Well, during the week, I'm sitting down with the offensive coordinator and seeing how many quick passes, screens, swing passes to the back out of the backfield, things that could get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. I mean, how many of those do we have on the play sheet? Because you do not want to sit and drop back football against a guy who's playing the type of football that Betts is playing. So I'm sure Cody's known for getting rid of the ball fast. He doesn't hold on to the ball a lot. If he does, he gets out of the pocket. So I don't really expect a change of game plan for Edmonton. You just have to know where Betts is at all times, because he's a game wrecker for sure.
It does. It seems strange that when there's 24 players on the field, but yet one person can dominate and wreck a game plan. He seems to be it. Nathan Rourke, and last hour when we were chatting with Dave earlier in the show, we love the arm, but it seems that he's getting smarter when he chooses to run. And that's kind of made him extra dangerous, because it's not just running with reckless abandon anymore. Does it seem like he's picking his spots?
Definitely. I mean, he's learning from Buck. I mean, watching Buck Pierce throughout his career, when we were competing against each other, he took some vicious hits. And, I'm sure Buck is telling Nathan how to preserve yourself. It's cool to have a 50-yard play, but it's even better to slide after a 15-yard run and you're ready to go for the next play. You're not waking up shaking your head because you're trying to gather yourself after taking a big hit. So, I mean, what better coach to have in your ear about about protecting yourself than a coach who's had a whole bunch of concussions and understands what it's like to take some big hits down the field. So he's playing smart football. He's getting rid of the ball, and like you said, he's protecting himself, and that's huge, especially this time of year.
Who was it that had to pull Darian back in your day when, take off and run? Like, who was the guy that had to say, like, Darian, all right, hold on a sec.
You know what? Early on, it was Rob Bagg and Weston Dressler. I mean, they would see me get up slowly sometimes and be like, okay, Dubs, like, you can't take those hits. And then, as I got older and I started missing a game or two here or there, I'm like, you know what? I need to start sliding because it's October and November games that are very important, and you have to make sure you're there for that. So a lot of it comes from age and experience, but you definitely have to have your guys in your ear to let you know that you're trying to do a little too much and you need to slow down some.
Montreal's going to be at Ottawa. I tried to watch that game on Monday, but it was getting out of hand. It was just Ottawa's overmatched. Montreal is just, now that they're full rosters back, Darian, aren't they dangerous? If they end up in first place in the East, that wouldn't surprise me how that plays out. They, to me, seem like the most complete football team in the CFL right now, that where all three units are doing what they need to do. Nothing against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but offensively, we're not necessarily clicking on all cylinders. Montreal seems to be doing it all on all three cylinders.
Yeah, they've gotten their quarterback back at the perfect time. I mean, the last 4, 5, 6 games of the season, that's when you want to hit your stride. That's when you want to be playing your best football. They got Davis Alexander back at the perfect time. And even earlier in the season, I mean, at the beginning of the season, we felt as if this was one of the best teams in the league, if not the best team in the league. And then the injury to your quarterback can definitely derail, your projections on that. Having him back and seeing the explosiveness that he gives this team, the chemistry that he has with their wide receivers, just the energy and everything this guy brings to Montreal. Like I said, whenever you're playing well at this part of the season, and they seem to be playing the best football in the CFL right now. This is definitely a team that if they can get that, find a way to get the home field playoff game, the East Final at home, I think it'll be a cakewalk for them.
How happy were you to finally see Vernon Adams and the Calgary Stampeders win that football game? They looked pretty good last week, beating the Hamilton Ticats. There was a lot of old play VA from early in the season that showed up, and they made Hamilton look pretty pedestrian at times.
They did. And I mean, this is what you expected from Calgary. I think they showed this earlier in the season. I think the question's still out on Hamilton and how good they really are. I know they had a win streak earlier in the season, and the writers and everyone was high on this team, but they just haven't shown the consistency to go out there and be able to compete on a weekly basis with the best teams. I mean, they beat who they're supposed to beat, but I'm not sure if they've had a key win this entire year. So, they're winning games. They're first in the East at the moment, but I think the question mark is still out on Hamilton. Yep. How good are they? Are they the best team in the East? We don't know, but we just don't know enough about Hamilton right now. We know they have big playability, but we still don't know how consistent they are.
I'll agree with you, because of the 6 teams that are going to make the playoffs, to me, the whatever the crossover team is, I trust more than the Hamilton Ticats, just because of what it would take. So I'm with you on that. When Hamilton could put it all together, they can make it look very easy, but they also can make it look incredibly hard. And I know. Calgary looked dominant last week. They're going to play the Argos this week. Their magic number is down to 1. I expect another gutsy effort from Toronto, but I just don't know going on the road again. And Dave Dickinson at home, and with Dedrick Mills in that run game, I think
Calgary
Toronto's
they just have too much to play for. They have too much to play for. Toronto really doesn't have much to play for. When you're dealing with the team, especially, look, man, the West is just so battle tested, right? And I say this each and every year, and it's no disrespect to the East. I mean, they get in these Grey Cup games and they actually win. So you have to give them credit when credit is due. But when it comes to regular season and being battle tested and going through a gauntlet, I mean, there's nothing tougher than the West ever since I've been affiliated with the CFL. So the same for this year. These Western teams are battle tested, going to slug it out until the final whistle of the regular season.
When you were a player, did you ever have any players-only meetings for the Saskatchewan Roughriders?
Of course, I think it's something that every team goes through. I mean, when you're struggling, and unfortunately, you mainly have players only meetings when you're struggling. You never seem to have them when everything is going well. You just sit there and listen to whatever the head coach says. But when you're struggling and you're trying to figure out what's going on and figure out the mood of the team and what guys are feeling, you have these players only meetings. So I've been a part of a couple, and I've definitely called them. And for the most part, they work. If you have the right type of leadership and the right guys in the locker room, then it's for the best.
Well, because your neighbor, Tua Tagovailoa, and you've probably seen this clip, after they lose last week to the Chargers, he comes out and said, guys are now skipping the players-only meetings, which they've had multiple of. Like, you're shaking your head right now. Should somebody just tell Tua, shut up, and tell the PR staff, do not get this guy in front of a microphone. He is killing us.
Yeah, I mean, Tua should get the feel from the guys and know that he has to shut up. I mean, whenever a guy doesn't show up or shows up late to a players-only meeting, then that just means he doesn't respect the quarterback or he doesn't respect whoever called that meeting. So, I mean, Tua should just take that as he's just lost the team. I mean, I don't think he's playing well enough for him to even call a players-only meeting. I mean, he should be one of the guys in the back of the meeting just sitting there listening to the guys and raising his hand saying that he needs to improve his play, because the way he's playing, he has no right to call a meeting and try to motivate other guys when he's one of the weakest parts of the team right now.
See, I would love to know, just in talking about this, in your brain, the players that flashed through your mind that would have handled the Tua Tagovailoa to be like, sit down, shut up, you don't do this. Like all of the players that you would have played with that we probably all know, and how that just they would have lost their mind. Miami is playing Cleveland this week. You said Shedeur Sanders could be the starter by week 4. He's only a play away. Dylan Gabriel. Miami and Cleveland, that's torture, right? If anybody sits down to watch that. Now, I don't think Mike McDaniel's the problem. He's got a quarterback problem. He's just a coach lost in the weeds. If they lose to Cleveland, do you have to blow that up and get rid of the coach and the quarterback?
You know what? Your hands are tied with the quarterback, right? He just signed a huge deal. You get rid of Tua, you take a major cap hit, and I mean, who are you gonna put in his place to even get half of the type of production that he's given? I mean, you can sit there and say that because he's struggling, you should just put another guy in there. But look, it's so hard to find a quarterback that can have some success in the NFL. So you can't just get rid of a guy, let alone a guy making over $200 million. So, I mean, look, I think the team has it's just done. From the GM down to the head coach down to the quarterback, everyone seems to have just lost this team. There's no respect. The guys don't respect each other. And, Miami's a tough place to play, not only on the field, but off the field. So if you can't handle yourself or you're not having much success on the field, there are a ton of distractions down there that can get your mind out of football way of thinking. So I think a lot of that's going on as well.
Why don't we just trade for Joe Flacco and the Cincinnati Bengals are down with him in a couple weeks? I love that story. I love that Joe, because he said you only get a chance to play in the NFL once, and when that's over, it'll be over for good. And I'm going to keep going as long as I can. There's some juicy games this week. I like that Rams game taken. I ever since Jacksonville was on primetime football, I'm a Jags fan. They're going to be playing over in England. You've got the Eagles at the Vikings. That's good this week. How about those New England Patriots? Commanders Cowboys. Darian the other night. How bad do you feel for Jaden Daniels? It was a wet ball. The exchange to the quarterback leads to the fumble, which leads to the drive, and they lose. I thought Washington played scrappy in that game, coming back the way they did. Yeah. I like what the Commanders have.
Oh yeah, they're solid, man. Dan Quinn is an amazing coach. I'm a big fan of coaches that are motivators and have the team and the team respects. So you can see that this Washington team respects their coach. And you just feel bad for Jaden Daniels when it comes down to a play like that. The quarterback center exchange is something that should be routine, and when it's not, it's just a huge letdown. So you feel bad, but he's a good quarterback. He'll bounce back, and this will be a good game in Dallas. Dallas still has hope at the division with Philly losing and
I know.
Only having 3 losses. So as bad as it seems for the Cowboys, they still have an opportunity to get atop of that division.
Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay at Detroit. If you had a vote, is Baker Mayfield up in your voting system for most valuable player this year in the NFL with what he's done so far through 6 games?
I think so. I think he's been playing the most consistent football by far. No one expected Tampa to have this much success early on. So I think you have to look at him as a front runner at the moment. I know a lot of people are saying that what Mahomes has done over the past 3 games, and you maybe need to just reassert him back at the top, which is well deserved for him. But I mean, consistently, Baker Mayfield has just been playing the back ball in the league so far this year. I'm not surprised. I think he's very underrated. And, this will be a great game between Tampa and Detroit, 2 Titans and 2 of the best teams in the NFC going at it, and should be a good one.
Okay, so just to confirm, we're not buying you a plane ticket to Winnipeg for Friday. I just want to let you know, just in case like one of the travel coordinators listening. All right, no, that's a no. Okay. The special.
Hopefully I can be in Winnipeg for the Grey Cup instead. That'll be a better trip.
Nice.
When we can rub it in a little bit more. No one's expecting the Riders to win this game with all the starters that they're sitting out. So it'll be better if I'm there when we're favored
when it matters.
Something. Exactly.
All right, nice. It's Double Talk, special Wednesday edition with Darian Durant. As always, sir, we appreciate your time. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear from Mario Anderson Jr., who will be the starting running back for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, as AJ Ouellette is one of the players that will be rested on Friday against the Bombers. This is the home of Rider Radio, 620 CKRM.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Friday is game day as the Riders take on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk and Tegan Whitkos at 3. The pregame show's at 5. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 6. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network is brought to you by Salford Equipment, Western Ag Professional Agronomy, and the Saskatchewan NDP Caucus. Stream every moment of Rider football at sportscage.com.
So since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know. That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
The best bulls on the planet are coming for the bulls and their riders. Those 8 seconds go by in a heartbeat. 8 seconds to become a champion or nothing. This is Canada, and this is the PBR. The professional bull riders buck into SaskTel Center with 2 huge shows October 24th and 25th with the Saskatoon Classic. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.ca.
Here they are, the Cowboys of the PBR!
Back to our regular spot, Pump Jacks Cathedral.
I thought Pump Jacks was a kind of boot polish till last month.
What are you getting?
Kerwin's crispy ribs and a cold pint of local craft. Crispy, meaty, beautiful.
You had me at meaty.
Plus, we got live music on the weekends, big screens. This place is basically my second marriage.
And way cheaper than the first.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jacks Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet. This fall, there's something strange in your kid's backpack.
No signal.
Back in my day, we busted ghosts. Now we bust bad cell plans. That's why I go to Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer. They've got the latest phones, data plans, internet, and Max TV Stream, and way less slime. Your phone just tried to FaceTime a ghost? Who are you going to call? Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Qu'Appelle. EchoSound.ca.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586-1333 to book.
For 40 years, the team from Linex Regina has been protecting vehicles across Saskatchewan, and we're changing with the times. 3 generations of our family have protected your vehicles. Our business has evolved, and we're not stopping now. The next generation is here. Same family, same commitment, ready for the next generation of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards in all kinds of colors. Linex Regina, 1865 McCarra Street, the next generation of protective coatings.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
All the farmland and equipment you could need are available at auction this fall with Ritchie Brothers. A wide variety of farmland auctions across Western Canada will begin in earnest in October and run into December to get you ready for the next season. With new parcels of land and equipment continually added to their inventory, make sure to visit their website so you never miss an opportunity. Head over to rbauction.com to get started. Again, that's rbauction.com.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
4 games in the NHL tonight. One of them is underway. The Buffalo Sabres leading the Ottawa Senators 1-0 with about 6.5 minutes to go in the first period. Still to come tonight, the Calgary Flames will be in Utah to take on the Mammoth. That'll be a 7:30 face-up. Western Hockey League action. The Kamloops Blazers are in Moose Jaw to take on the Warriors. Pats back in action this weekend. Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, Flin Flons at Yorkton, Kindersley at Estevan. Prairie Junior Hockey League, the Regina Silver Foxes are in Assiniboia to take on the Southern Rebels. Regina Capitals and Pilot Butte to take on the Storm. And the Prince Albert Timberjacks in Saskatoon to play the Wesleys. Face-off there goes at 8 o'clock. Major League Baseball, the American League Championship Series in about a half hour's time, exactly a half hour from now. First pitch is at 6:08. Mariners, Jays, Shane Bieber, George Kirby. Mariners leading that series 2-0. Colson, I'd have to say that so far, people playing Pick the Score on this Wednesday afternoon have been very down to earth about what the situation is on Friday night. The Riders are going in. They're resting a lot of starters. Jake Maier's a starting quarterback, and Winnipeg's got a lot to play for. And a lot of people are picking the Bombers to win. I am one of them. If I am wrong, I am happily surprised, but I think the Bombers do win because they're playing for everything. We're playing for not nothing, but
we're playing to keep guys from getting rusty. That's really it. We're playing to make sure guys are staying active, staying warm, staying in game shape, right? Picks the score has been pretty even between close Riders wins or less close.
People taking the Bombers.
There's no blowouts being picked this week. No one's expecting a 50-5 kind of game.
Now, normally earlier in the season, Rider fans, just to let you in a little inside baseball in the text line, any of those other Bomber Rider games this year, it's 99.9% Riders and the scores are huge. But for whatever reason, everybody, I don't know if it's a turkey hangover from Thanksgiving, goes, well, wait a minute. We could get some bad weather and Riders could be in tough.
I think
Bombers
it's just because everyone wants to win the SaskTel gift card, right? Because they know,
they
know we're easing off a little bit. So they're playing the odds instead of just playing with their hearts. But by the way, Roscoe texts in. He said you should probably update your background. It looks like a dungeon or maybe the bottom of a well. Just with the brick background there.
Could be either, Roscoe. I mean, you got to keep them listening. There's all sorts of scenarios there that we can come up with. So pick the score. All right, this would be last call. First name, last name, and your prediction for Friday, 306-936-6262 on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. If you don't include your name, we don't know who you are. And everybody has 19 jobs these days, so we don't have the time to track you down. So we do know that AJ Ouellette won't be playing Friday in Winnipeg, but starting in his place will be Mario Anderson. And Dave Thomas, voice of the Riders, had a chance to catch up with Mario after practice today.
Mario Anderson Jr., you've been getting a lot of first-team reps. What does it mean to get back into the lineup and given an opportunity perhaps to carry the ball and be a lot more involved in the offense than what you've been thus far?
Anytime, coaches, my teammates able to trust me to be able to go out there and make a play for the team to help us execute and win. It's a very good feeling. Just everything that I worked hard for, learning from AJ, Thomas, and Coach Harris and everything, just being able to maximize my opportunity as much as I can every single chance I get.
Talking about the chances you get, at one point this year you could see that you wanted to make sure that you were in on every single rep possible when you were talking off the field. Hey, I'm not missing a rep. I want to make sure I go. How important is that to you and making the most of those chances? And does it add extra pressure to you?
No, I don't believe in pressure. My coach always told me in high school, pressure either bust pipes to create diamonds, and I always live by that to this moment. So that just helps me be able to seize every moment that I can get, and ultimately give glory to God. To be honest, pray for moments like this, be able to come out here at a professional stage. When my teammates believe in me and everything, my coaches believe in me. It's just a really good feeling to go out here and just execute and be part of the game plan and go out there and play.
If you were to count back and go back to May when you arrive in rookie camp, how much have you changed and how much have you grown to understand this game?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I've changed, personally as a young man, a lot. Just every single day I'm trying to put that foot in front of the next one to keep growing. And just the game as a whole, there's a few rules and different things that I'm still trying to get used to, but for my first year out here, I think I've adjusted pretty well.
You've got a running back room with AJ Ouellette, who you mentioned, and Coach Andrew Harris. What have they been meant to you, mentoring you this year?
Oh, yeah. AJ Ouellette, man, he's like a big brother to me. He does everything the right way. He's a real pro, and I learn a lot from him. Coach Harris as well. Coach Harris, he's a future Hall of Famer here in this league. He's dominated every single year he's played in this league, and just to have those two guys, a guy that's in front of me playing right now, also someone who's coaching me at the same time, I get two different point of views that are great point of views at the same time, so I get the best of both worlds having those two in the same room.
I'm pretty sure that I don't have to convince you on this, but some folks have mentioned to me, boy, it's a meaningless game in Winnipeg this week. It's not meaningless, I would suggest, to anyone wearing green and white right now, is it?
No, sir. No, sir. Every time that we get to go out on the field and compete, we have a chance to go 1-0, so we're going to go out there and dominate.
Is it a statement opportunity as well for you individually as well as the team going into Winnipeg for already a second time in the regular season, third time overall?
Anytime, whether it's me, myself, or anyone else on the team can go out there and step on the field, like I said, it's always an opportunity to go out there and showcase what you can do, not only for this team, for this province, but also just to be able to put it on tape and show that we can do as a player.
Finally, before we let you go, as you look at this game against Winnipeg and you start to prepare, obviously you know what the postseason will look like for your team. Are there check boxes that you need to check along the way to make sure that you are ready when the opportunity presents along this stretch one for the Roughriders?
I'm ready regardless.
Whoa, nice. That's the only answer that we want to hear here in Rider Nation. Colson, that's Mario Anderson Jr. Now remember, he made the team out of training camp, but when they brought in Kadeem Carey, they cut him and sent him home. So he was just sitting around, and then unfortunately Kadeem Carey got hurt, and then he got brought back for a second chance. So you could hear in his voice how much he's cherishing this opportunity. And it doesn't look like he's going to let this opportunity go anytime soon, because he's our starting tailback on Friday night. Week 20 in the CFL. let's see. If we got to make picks, and Colson, I don't know where you're falling on this. Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, I'm taking the Bombers. They just have way more to play for, and they're fired up. Edmonton at BC. I like the Edmonton story, but BC, to me, is the second best team in the CFL behind the Montreal Alouettes. I'm taking the Lions on Friday. Montreal at Ottawa. Unless something catastrophic happens in Ottawa. There are a lot of catastrophic things that happen in Ottawa. I'm talking about on the football field. The Alouettes win that game. Even with their 8th-string quarterback playing, I think they beat the Red Blacks. And then Toronto, Calgary. I got to go Stamps there. They win, and then they're in the playoffs. Where they'll play, nobody knows, but they make it in. Those are the Week 20 predictions. All right, time to take our final break on the show. We come back, we'll wrap things up. When we come back, we'll get a crack at the junior football report with Dave Thomas. We'll do that next right here on 620 CKRM.
Hey, farmers and ranchers, do you want the next generation to know and care more about agriculture? Donate to the Acres for Education campaign by Agriculture in the Classroom Saskatchewan to help get students out of the classroom to experience agriculture. This year, every dollar donated will be matched up to $25,000 thanks to JGL, so your gift will make twice the difference. Donate at aitc.sk.ca/Acres for Education.
All the farmland and equipment you could need are available at auction this fall with Ritchie Brothers. A wide variety of farmland auctions across Western Canada will begin in earnest in October and run into December to get you ready for the next season. With new parcels of land and equipment continually added to their inventory, make sure to visit their website so you never miss an opportunity. Head over to rbauction.com to get started. Again, that's rbauction.com.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50/50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC.
Get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
Meet Todd. It's noon. He's really hungry, and his stomach makes sure to let him know it.
Todd, we talked about this. No more skipping meals. I need cheese. I need crust. I need Western Pizza.
All right. Western Pizza it is.
Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today before your stomach starts making demands.
And get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
Freeze Tallman wants you to get her done before the winter. They can save you time and hassle by delivering your building materials directly to your home or cottage. They have siding, roofing, brown-treated lumber, composite decking, aluminum railing, fencing, everything you need to finish your outdoor building projects before snow falls. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel. Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
The best bulls on the planet are coming for the bulls and their riders. Those 8 seconds go by in a heartbeat. 8 seconds to become a champion or nothing. This is Canada, and this is the PBR. The professional bull riders buck into SaskTel Center with 2 huge shows October 24th and 25th with the Saskatoon Classic. Get tickets today at Ticketmaster.ca.
Here they are, the Cowboys of the PBR.
SEIU West members are
Stores Person,
Unit Assistant, Finance Officer,
Unit Clerk,
Recreation Coordinator,
Youth Care Worker,
Medical Laboratory Technologist, Power Engineer,
Office Administrative Assistant,
Maintenance Services Worker,
Medical Transcriptionist,
Medical Office Assistant, File Clerk,
Medical Laboratory Assistant,
Pharmacy Technician. The backbone of your public health care system. Learn more at seius.ca.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262 for Prairie Land Rentals. Renting heaters, skid steers, and most power tools for all those winter jobs. And your official Husqvarna snow thrower dealer. Prairie Land Rentals, 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. This is Sportscage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Hey, thanks for being part of the show today. If you've missed any of it, let's see. We had Dave Thomas, voice of the Riders, Eric Francis, our NHL insider, and then Darian Durant with the special Wednesday edition of Double Talk. You can always get the podcast, Sportscage, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your sportscast. Barney's back in tomorrow. We wrap the show with the Junior Football Report. Here's Dave Thomas.
Finals are set in the Prairie Football Conference. On Sunday afternoon at Leibel Field, the defending champion Regina Thunder will host the Edmonton Huskies. The Thunder wrapped up a dominant 7-1 regular season with the 56-3 win over the Edmonton Wildcats last week. In that victory, the Thunder set a new CJFL single-game rushing record with 632 rushing yards. Thunder offensive lineman Caleb Barajas, who also practices with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, says that 632 rushing yards means a lot to the team.
It means a lot. You know, the guys work really hard over the offseason, and just seeing them come together and be able to work together. And to be honest, our starters got pulled out at the half, so that goes to the whole O-line room, not even just starters, right? So that's great. It's a great feeling.
Did anything not work on the afternoon?
No, we opened up the playbook quite a bit, yeah.
Including you getting an 11-yard score. It was originally called a pass reception, then turned into a running play. Explain it to me.
Well, we kind of practiced it through the week. We didn't know if we were going to be able to do it or not because of the weather, but just shout out to the O-line, right? Like, that doesn't work unless the whole unit is doing their job, right?
So when you're putting that play in, when the install comes in, do you look at it and you're like, what is happening here, or were you all for it?
I was jumping out of my shoes. I couldn't wait for it. I was so happy, yeah. Just glad I got the opportunity.
So the install does come in, but then the play call comes in. Your mindset in that huddle.
So the funny thing about that is we tried to run it a little earlier in the game, but we kept getting flags, and we were trying to set it up off the left hash, kept going to the right side, kept getting flags and all that, so we were kind of bummed going into halftime, but coming out the half, we got the opportunity, and we knew it was going to happen.
It's a unique opportunity for a guy from California. Explain how that journey from California ends up in Regina with the Thunder.
I couldn't even tell you. Coming out of JUCO, I didn't really know what I was going to do. The whole university thing kind of folded, going to Fresno and all that. So I got a random phone call one day from the junior team explaining to me the opportunities, and he told me about how Stephen Smith was here last year doing PR, and I just couldn't say no.
So how's the Californian felt about the cooler conditions?
I can tell you what, this past Sunday game was my first time ever seeing snow, and first time obviously playing in a snow game. I absolutely love it. It's probably my new favorite weather game. It's just something different, right? And like, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Like, you kind of get numb to the cold after a little while, and like, it's just so fun being out there with the guys. Like, you got to take advantage of the moment.
Edmonton Huskies this weekend. What do you need to do to be successful?
Stay humble. Go 1-0.
Kickoff Sunday afternoon at Leibel Field is at 1. Meantime, in Saskatoon, the Hilltops will host the Winnipeg Rifles in the other semifinal. Hilltops defensive lineman Jonathan Stevens also practiced with the Saskatchewan Roughriders to start the season, and he admits he's learned a lot.
Well, I've taken away a lot of things there from coaching aspects there, my own play, and just the attitude and how I should prepare for games. Tried to embrace everything they've taught me for this season, and I've also tried to help out my teammates with what I've learned as well, because you don't just get that kind of those tips and that experience from just anywhere.
Now, for folks that don't know, you made the first interception of Saskatchewan Roughrider training camp, and maybe that could be the key to the success that the team has had this year. You really set the bar high, right?
No, I won't take any credit at all there. That's them. They've been performing very well there, and it's always fun to watch. It's really fun to watch them and get to say to my parents, "Hey, I know that guy."
When you're watching it, do you find yourself saying, "Hey, I know that play call. I know what they're trying to do here"?
Yes, absolutely. I've noticed a few times, like, oh wait, it's this, and this, and I call it out in my head, and it's like I go back there for just a split second, and a wave of memories and a wave of plays just kind of will rush over in my head.
You've turned the page successfully. The Saskatoon Hilltops finished second in the PFC with a 6-2 regular season. What was the season like for you individually?
Individually, there, I think it was a very good season. I felt improved on. Definitely, I came on there with a different attitude, but the team played really well, and now we're just focusing on the next week.
Well, and that next week is against the Winnipeg Rifles, a team that you split your season series with. That doesn't very often happen to the Hilltops, but what are you planning to or expecting to face this weekend?
Well, they're a good team. Obviously, they made the playoffs there, and they're the third team right now. But as you said, we split the series, so it'll be a good game, and we're just going to go out there and do our best and work as hard as we can.
So what do your team need to do to be successful against the Rifles to move on to the PFC final in 2 weeks?
Well, I'd say we just have to just execute. That's it. We have a very talented group of guys and hardworking group of guys there, and we just have to be able to shut off our brains and just play football there. That's all we have to do. It's an important game, but it is also just another game.
The Hilltops and Rifles will play at 1 o'clock on Sunday at Saskatoon Minor Football Field. And that's the Junior Football Report. I'm Dave Thomas.
You need to know what's going on in Regina, so get the scoop with the Regina Today newsletter, your backstage pass to everything happening in the city. It's quick, it's free, it's Regina Unfiltered. Get it straight to your inbox. Find the link to sign up at 620ckrm.com or text news to 306-936-6262 and get the link delivered right to your phone. Regina Today from sastoday.ca. Don't miss out.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets